This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and former Memphis Tiger Gabe Kuhn.
Welcome in to Sports Time on Sports 56. Gabe Kuhn, Brett Stats Norsworthy, Bryant Dacus, coming to you live from the Family Leisure Studios, where family and fun come together. Relax at home sale is going on right now at Family Leisure, so get down there and check out their spa, saunas, and patio furniture that is all on sale. Family Leisure is 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. And as always, the first hour of our show is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis, the one and only Lexus dealership in all of Memphis. Have a lot to get to. AutoZone listener line, 901-360-8255. Also, watch us live and message us on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and at Sports56, WHBQ.com. Yesterday, Roger Goodell, commissioner of the NFL, met with the media for their after their annual owners meetings. There were some interesting sort of sound bites that came out of that. The Grizzlies tonight will start their second back-to-back of this 4-game road trip. It'll be in Portland tonight, and then after that, once we get to Thursday, they will make sure they go to Golden State in the Bay Area to face the Warriors. And we also approach the college football and NFL weekend. We'll discuss some lines later in the show. But we are to Game 2 of the World Series tonight, 7:09. Braves take Game 1 pretty handily, 6-2. But there was something that came across my timeline today. 10 years ago to the day, 10 years ago, on October 27th, 2011, this is what happened.
Freeze hits it in the air to center. We will see you tomorrow night.
Shout out Lafayette High School, Brett Norsworthy. Shout out West County, St. Louis. Shout out to David Freese.
Shout out to Country Days, Joe Buck.
That was unbelievable.
Joe Buck on the call from Country Day.
And the triple in the bottom of the ninth with 2 outs to tie up the game, to extend the series, extend the game.
It was so much.
Oh, it was unbelievable.
It was so much. Only the second World Series game to ever finish 10-9. The other one was Bill Mazeroski's Game 7 home run in the bottom of the ninth for the Pittsburgh Pirates in 1960 to beat the New York Yankees. And I've tweeted it, and I've said it a million times on this show. People probably sick to death of hearing it. Single greatest sports moment of my life.
Were you in attendance, right?
Oh yeah, section 152.
Wow.
At the next break, I'll get the ticket stub out and put it up on the camera for people to see.
Save that one. That one's got to be laminated, the whole 9 yards.
I got them all. I got them all from everything, from all the way through, every credential. I got it all. But that night was so great, and lost in that. Yes, David Freese, no doubt, the World Series MVP and the biggest home run in St. Louis Cardinals history. But what Lance Berkman did that night, a couple of different times, it just got lost in the shuffle of all the theatrics. Albert Pujols, I said this morning when I joined Dave, 22 out of 25 Cardinals used that night. Scorecard was full by TLR, by the great Don Toney. The only 3 players that didn't appear, they were saving Chris Carpenter for a Game 7, although they even told him to start stretching in case you run out of pitching. The Cardinals had to win Game 6. There's no Game 7. There's no need to save for Game 7. Mitchell Boggs didn't appear, and Arthur Rhodes, and he was warming up to come in the next inning. So the Cardinals went through 22 out of 25 men. The Rangers had already set up the clubhouse for the celebration. The TV cameras already peeked in there and showed it. Earlier that day, big crew up from Memphis, from Little Rock, and we caught him. He was in there shopping for not the spray the champagne on each other, but the celebration.
Where's the wine store? Where's it at? Town and Country, Clayton area?
Yeah, I'd had to.
Okay.
Dave might be able to remember, and I know one other person on our trip would remember, because he goes in there. He goes to St. Louis and stays in that. There's a nice Ritz out there at Clayton, and it's not far from it. But we ran into Ted Skokas from Little Rock, Arkansas, who's married to a former Miss Arkansas, Shannon Boy, and ran into them, and he was shopping for his to drink, not to spray in the clubhouse champagne. And I told him, I said, Ted, I think y'all have us. And Ted's sister later lived in Forest City, and I knew her pretty well. And I know Teddy Skokas' son, Teddy, well. And I said, will you join me tomorrow? I said, when the Rangers, the Rangers are going to probably win it tonight. I said, will you join me tomorrow morning on our show? He said, I'd be glad to. So the next morning I called him, and Dave and I were in the morning and with George. The next morning I called him. I said, I can't do you like that. I can't put you on after that loss. I know you're hurting.
Cannot.
And they were.
Yeah, no. I don't blame them. That was a tough way to lose. That was a very
brutal.
tough way to lose.
Brutal.
Bad beat, 2 outs. You think you're down to your – and honestly –
the story goes the Rangers right fielder, and if you'll remember this, the ball got over his head. They said he had kind of scunched in a little bit thinking it's going to be the last out, and he wanted to be to the dog pile.
Oh,
come on, man! You can't worry about the flipping dog pile. You gotta be in no doubles defense.
But it's unbelievable, especially where I'm from. Obviously, David Freese went to my same high school.
Yeah.
Just a pure on legend at this point. And from that day on, obviously won the World Series MVP. Never really recreated anything of major value in the MLB. And he had his issues here and there. But another thing that I thought about is in 2006, when the Cardinals won it, 2011 when the Cardinals won it, it wasn't the MVP wasn't the guy who you expected it to be. Two guys
that and Freeze.
Yeah, you're not expecting them to be considered for it going into the series. You're expecting Albert Pujols, Jim Edmonds, other guys that.
Now Freeze
Matt
had a
Holliday
great NLCS that year. Freeze, he was MVP of the LCS as well, and stayed hot, and they kept throwing him fastballs, and he kept hitting them to right center, and right before that play, I know you know Don DeWeese, and a lot of people do.
Yep.
The very fun owner of Gibson's Donuts, and we were sitting by each other, and crowd going crazy, and I asked him, against the crowd, I said, Don, how much cash you got on you? And he said, I got plenty. I said, if Freeze hits a home run, I'm going on the field. You're going to have to bail me out. Well, the first pitch to Freeze in that at bat, he fouled it straight back. I mean, he just missed it. The crowd oohed and awed knowing that that was probably the best pitch you'll see in this at bat. And then I think he worked it to 3-2. What was that count? 3-2? I'm sorry, I don't remember. I should.
Positive. I'm not positive. There's 2 strikes.
And they came with another fastball, and he cranked it. Then I'd forgotten my bravado and boast about going out on the field. And I'm glad I didn't. I didn't want to spend the night in the jug.
It was a full count, according to Brian.
What was?
Letting me know.
Wow.
Yes. And Brian apparently, I had no idea until today that he was a Rangers fan. Then obviously he's changed allegiances since then, but. Brian,
you hit over by the chainsaws with that decision. Poor decision.
10 years ago was a tough night for you.
It was a very tough night. Very tough.
Well, it was a great night for old Brett. In 2006, on October 27th, that was Game 5 closeout against the Detroit Tigers, and I was there for that as well. So October 27th has been really good for old Brett and his Cardinal fans.
You ask Cardinals fans where they were when Freese hit that bomb. They know exactly where they were. I was in my buddy Niles' basement where we normally watched the games, theater seating, the whole 9 yards. So nice. I still remember where Kid Gabe Kuhn was at that time.
Everybody goes crazy. Rob Fisher told a great story. I think Dipty. I think it was she was pregnant with Keegan, with their oldest, and she had been, or maybe Keegan was a baby. I think that might have been it, and it was baby asleep or something. I mean, it was don't disturb anybody, and he couldn't celebrate. He was trying to go crazy and hold it all in, and finally just went outside and celebrated. But the scene in downtown St. Louis, Gabe, I'm not kidding you. All my life, I've wanted to be at a scene. The great picture of the naval officer kissing the gal in Times Square on VE Day. Well, I'm not at all comparing it to that, but I've wanted an Americana moment like that in my life. And the closest thing I've ever had to it was the sports moment. I'm not at all comparing the Cardinals winning VE Day to winning World War II.
Understood.
But that night in St. Louis, total strangers. I mean, big people, small people, male, female, everything, just hugging complete strangers. I mean, bear hugs.
Could you imagine the scene if they had Ballpark Village done at that time and had that all figured out. Oh my gosh.
I can't. And we stayed out celebrating like everybody else did. And I don't drink, and so mine was just with water and Coke. Mm-hmm. We stayed out till about 2:30 or 3. I mean, that's hard to do when you drink water and Coke. and
no Red Bull.
We had all,
you didn't even get a Red Bull.
No, and we all had to be on the air at 8:00, and I'd set up my room kind of as the studio for everybody to come in there. And friends of ours from Memphis that were on the trip, they were all in there too. And a good friend of mine texted me and said, "Oh, Brett, please tell me this hadn't happened." I said, "What?" He said, "You sound terrible. Please tell me you're not hungover." I went, "No, I'm going on no sleep and adrenaline. No, I ain't drink a drop." I said, "I promise you I hadn't." He said, "Oh, good." He said, "I was so worried."
At least
I was so worried.
You had the caffeine and the Coke to keep you going.
Yeah, we did, and that was a fun night. And David Freese, I mean, legendary figure now, forever in St. Louis. And last night, the Atlanta Braves got them some memories like that with Soler going up there and cranking one at first at bat.
How about the one Duvall hit in the third? I tweeted this out. That got
what was
out.
The exit velo?
I didn't see the final exit velocity. I said you could have hung clothes on that thing. And honestly, the Soler one
you could put all the laundry on that line.
Yeah, the Soler one was honestly got out pretty quickly too. In all reality, but last night, Framber Valdez off that 8 innings pitched, great outing in the CS, just did not have it. And a
pretty classic matchup. Can the Astros have enough lumber, enough bats, enough offense to prevail? Now down 1-0, and you look at the starting pitching, even with Charlie Morton out, the rest of the series set up pretty nicely for the Braves. The Braves may have to go to Drew Smiley from Little Rock, Arkansas, Little Rock Central, and the Razorbacks, who really kind of got his career back and got back to the show and contributed. I was begging people with the Cardinals last offseason, or maybe 2 years ago, whenever he latched on with the Braves, he still had something left, and he did, and they may need him before this series is over.
Yeah.
Go Max Fried tonight.
Yeah,
if you pull it for the Braves.
He's been all right. He's been all right. It sucks to lose Charlie Morton, though, how good he has been in the playoffs over his career. We'll return to this conversation at 3:45. We'll talk more World Series then and some more MLB news. Alex Kuhn here, my brother, 3:30. Will talk to us about some college football.
We'll find out where he was that night.
Yes, 4 o'clock, Drew DiArmond from Huntsville. We will talk to him about Bama and the SEC. 5 o'clock, we'll bring on Chris Gordy to talk some World Series as well, so we'll revisit them. But I had to start with the good news.
And Chris down in Houston, Drew DiArmond in Huntsville, but we'll get some SEC talk from Chris Gordy as well. He hosts Locked on the SEC, but he also does pre and post for the Astros, and Drew DiArmond will help us set up Auburn and Ole Miss this weekend, and also without Alabama's open date, the first look next week to them playing LSU.
But, Brett, I had to start with the good news because we did have some very, very bad news come down yesterday as well. A more or less legendary coach that is very familiar, we're very familiar with in this area, defensive coordinator Joe Lee Dunn, passed away yesterday at 75. Obviously the godfather of the 3-3-5 attacking style, and I mean by the way, I mean attacking style of defense. He was at Memphis.
Tora.
He was at Memphis State in 91, came back with Tommy West to Memphis 03-05, Ole Miss, Arkansas, Mississippi State. He had a little stint at Ridgeway High School, right, too, I believe, as a head coach.
He was at South Carolina. He was at a lot of places. Fun-loving guy. Drew the tough assignment to be the interim coach after a summertime change at Ole Miss when Coach Brewer was out and he had to come in. Joe Lee Dunn did a good job but just legendary. I don't know where his best work was because it was all good at every place.
But he did so much work too. I mean, it's all different levels, too. I mean, he was with Hal Mummy there at the end with McMurray at D3. And
fun-loving, just a ball coach, one of those lifers.
100%.
Really kind of reminded me, a lot of our more experienced listeners, seasoned listeners, will remember this from the offensive side. He was kind of the Jimmy Red Parker of the defensive side. He fun-loving, had his own act.
What Jimmy Red Parker run offensively? If you're talking about the other side.
He loved to run the power.
Oh, okay, yeah. My type of guy.
I mean, yeah, a little bit of veer tendencies, but mostly run the power play, and Jolie Dunn, I think he did get the best out of coaching. It was a little before the bigger money, but it was bigger money than the generation before him. And a lot of places, and everywhere he went, he left a long list of friends.
And different variations too of the 3-3-5 are used everywhere now. I mean, everywhere. A lot in the Big 12 to help mitigate some of that spread type of offense. But the one thing that resonates with me that a lot of people have told me about Jolie Dunn over the years is blitz, aggression at all times.
They can't block them all.
At all times. Even when he lacked talent at times on the defensive side of the ball, he made sure that the other team felt every bit of the personnel he had on the field.
The year he was the interim at Ole Miss, Steve Spurrier put it on him one day in Oxford. I say put it on. It was 35-10 late in the game. Spurrier, I think, tacked on a field goal for it to end 38-10. And on the other side, Jolie Dunn was kind of spread like, what are you doing? And then after the game, I said, what'd you think of that? He goes, I thought, man, I might need a job from him next year. Why are you pounding me like this? There's no way they're hiring you here next year.
I'm not getting hired if you do that to me.
I wasn't with Ole Miss, and I was just covering the game, but I was trying to be nice and supportive. I said, well, Coach, who knows? You could get hot this year, and you could get this job. He goes, I'm the last guy they're going to hire here.
Yeah, but great work over his career and a lot of work in a lot of different places. Definitely touched a lot of people, especially in this area and in our region.
Just a lot of fun. NFL season is approaching the halfway point in FanDuel Sportsbook. They've got something different to offer for the Sunday night matchup, Dallas against Minnesota. That's a good one up against the World Series, isn't it? Because FanDuel is giving new customers 25-1 odds on any touchdown scored in the game. Any touchdown. That means you can end the Sunday NFL the right way with $125 on a $5 bet. Got to take Ezekiel Elliott on anybody scoring. Just don't overthink this. Maybe Dak on a quarterback sneak. It's offers like this among the many reasons I love betting at the NFL at FanDuel. Number one rated sportsbook app in America. Easy to use. Fast payouts. Now accepting Venmo. FanDuel sports betting made simple, and they're always hooking you up with great offers. Plus, when you win, you'll get paid in as little as 2 hours. 2 hours. See for yourself why FanDuel is America's number one sportsbook. Sign up for promo code CASH this week before the Sunday night matchup. You can win $125 on a $5 bet. Remember to use promo code CASH so they know I sent you. Exclusively on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Must be 21 or older, present in Tennessee, new users only. $10 first deposit required. Must wager in designated offer market. Max bonus $125 bonus for Tennessee users fulfilled in site credit within 72 hours. Tennessee site credit expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions do apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. This hour of our show, indeed, brought to you by the one and only Lexus dealership in Memphis. Appropriately, Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway. And online, even more appropriately, at lexusofmemphis.com. 901-362-8833. Great offers on all 2021 models and the 2022s rolling in, and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2021 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. 901-362-8833. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Top story of the day, of course, is the Braves up 1-0 in the World Series. Went on the road to Houston and got it done. It was not without a little bit of drama. Of course, Charlie Morton, who was pitching very well, I might add, only goes 3 1/3, gives up one hit, but he has to exit because of a comebacker that hit him in the ankle in the second inning. He ended up pitching a full inning on it, but they learned later that it was a right fibula fracture. I can't believe he struck out Jose Altuve on that broken leg. It was unbelievable to think that he had a broken fibula that entire time. A.J. Minter, of course, replaced him. But in the first inning, Jorge Soler led it off with a home run. And that is the first time ever in World Series history where there was a leadoff home run in Game 1.
117 World Series.
And that's the first time it has ever happened.
Baseball.
It's unbelievable. And that Jorge Soler, Adam Duvall were the two guys on the Braves that ended up hitting home runs, and you could have hung clothes on both of them. They got all of those, but they win 6-2, and they go up 1-0 in the World Series.
Gabe, they were such shots. You could hang actual washers and dryers on the clothesline. They were such line drives. My top story, I'm with you. Braves take Game 1 of the World Series, and that's all they wanted in their trip to Texas was to get one. But the overwhelming odds of being up 2-0, you got to go for it tonight. And for the Astros, they got them right where they want them. The Astros are now 0-4 all-time in World Series Game 1s. They're not sweating it. They've won one before losing Game 1. They've lost three other times with last night. The only team with more Game 1 losses, the Mets, 0-5 all-time in Game 1s.
It's an interesting stat. They got them right where they want them. And also last night, are we going to take advantage of our Taco Bell, our free tacos? Because I think
we are.
First inning, Ozzie Albies stole second base. So
yeah,
I think
we're taking advantage
free
of
tacos for the entire
country. We do it at
country.
crunch time at 5:50, don't we?
Yes, so free. I don't know if it's soft taco, hard taco, Doritos Locos
I'm
taco.
easy.
I couldn't say.
I'll
I'll
take
take
anything.
whatever.
It used to be a Doritos Locos.
I'll take whatever they got. But
Man,
tonight,
I live at Taco Bell.
Tonight, 7:09 first pitch, Max Fried versus Jose Urquidy.
Not top story of the day.
It's in the MLB too. I don't know if you saw this. This came by early this morning. Darren Heitner actually had the report that I saw first. The Cleveland Guardians, formerly the Cleveland Indians, are now competing for their name with a roller derby team in Cleveland called the Cleveland Guardians.
Are you kidding me?
Yes, this roller derby team just filed a lawsuit in the U.S. District Court of Northern Ohio alleging that the baseball club shortchanged their derby team. The roller derby club says negotiations between them and the baseball club broke down yesterday, causing them to take legal action. The trademark
You mean they were really in negotiation with them?
Get this.
So they broke down?
So the Indians, they were the Indians at the time that they filed this paperwork. They filed it in the African island nation of Mauritius to help keep its plans a secret. The roller derby club claims that the baseball club informed them they were considering the name, although they had already filed the trademark paperwork. The lawsuit says also the roller derby earned common law trademark rights based on priority use in Northeast Ohio of the name Guardians, Cleveland Guardians, that dates back to late 2013 and 2014. So this is just unbelievable. I can't imagine
Cleveland.
a roller derby team is going to end up winning this lawsuit over the mighty Cleveland baseball club, but unbelievable that they did not, cross their T's and dot their I's in this situation.
My not top story, Grizzlies in Portland tonight. San Francisco tomorrow night. At the end of the year, the Grizzlies in Portland, they could be jockeying for that 6-7, 7-8 seed against one another. They will be kind of in the same trading range. The Grizzlies aren't going to be in the same trading range at the end of the year with Golden State. So that's why I think it makes tonight the more critical of these last two on this road trip. Win this one tonight, free, house money tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm.
Golden State 4-0 in the year. You win this one tonight, I don't think you're that concerned about tomorrow night. Tonight is winnable. It's on ESPN, but I'll be watching our crew on Valley Sports.
How about go win both? And it's interesting,
there
too, with the Grizzlies, and we'll talk about it later. They have the highest offense through 3 games. Highest offensive rating.
Don't even need the charter to fly home, do you? Just glide home, don't you?
Have the highest offensive rating in the NBA through 3 games, but with that, the lowest defensive rating.
Happy flight for that charter if they win them both, don't you?
Yeah.
You might have to go Marshawn Lynch and go the 3 shots of the Hennessy, wouldn't you?
Maybe more than 3. You might have to double that. You might have to get
long
up.
Season.
Be careful, though.
Long season.
You got to be careful, though. But that is our top and our not top stories of the day. On the other side, we're going to bring on Alex Kuhn, my brother from KGYM Radio in Cedar Rapids, talk some college football, talk some Big Ten. A lot of Big Ten East matchups this weekend and some good matchups just around college football as a whole. We'll talk to him about that when we come back on Sports Time with Gabe and Stats.
You have opinions?
Well, you gotta have an opinion.
We want to hear them. Call or text us on the AutoZone listener line at 360-8255. That's the AutoZone listener line at 901-360-8255.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
Whether it's Miramichi, Cherokee, Galloway, or any of the numerous courses around town, you'll find me, Sheldon Rosengarten, with Marks Bensdorf Realtors, stinking up the course, because I've been known as the worst golfer in town. But along with that tag, people often say that when it comes to selling homes, when you want the job done, call Shell Done. Yes, I spend most of my time making sure my clients get the absolute best and most successful strategic marketing program. Darn it, I hate hitting triple bogeys, but I'd rather be making my clients more for their homes quicker. And who else is going to tell you that if you're thinking of selling, talk to 2 to 3 real estate brokers, but make sure that Shell Dunn is one of them. Remember this, write it down. You can reach me, Shell Dunn Rosengarten, at memphisrelocate.com or 4830546. That's memphisrelocate.com or 4830546. Do it now.
I got him on the line, Jeff Allen, the king of happy at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah.
Hey folks, need a new ride that gets 41 MPG? 2021 Kia Forte, $249 a month. 2021 Kia Rio S hatchback, 41 MPG, only $258 a month. Plus a 2022 turbocharged Kia Soul, ready for that road trip at $267 a month.
Plus you'll always get Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty program. Remember, Forte $249, Rio $258, Soul $267. And don't sell your trade till you check with us.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah, 2680 Mount Moriah, or KiaMountMoriah.com.
All 72 months at 2.9%, $29.99 down payment. Forte, ME 409,215, MSRP 19,335. Rio, ME 427,894, MSRP 19,755. Sold, M 7808,276, MSRP 20,615. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695. Must finance through Kia on low APR. Excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/31/21. Dealer stock only.
Susan, it's so great to finally be able to get together again.
Oh, it sure is. And I really appreciate you picking up the bill.
I'm happy to. I've got the extra cash. Since we've all been driving so much more again, I've been using Get Upside, the free gas app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Get Upside app?
Yes, up to 25 cents a gallon. Cash back every time I buy gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
Some months I make $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Get Upside app now.
Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play to save up to 25 cents a gallon when you buy gas. Use promo code BOOST for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 50 cents a gallon on your next fill-up. You can cash out anytime to PayPal or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code BOOST for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BOOST.
There's a lot of things to like about October. The cooler weather, football, the start of basketball season, and of course the Memphis Zoo's Zootoberfest. Zootoberfest is now one of the best things to look forward to every Saturday and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. in October. Guests can purchase a commemorative stein to sip beer while they enjoy a fall afternoon at the Memphis Zoo. Just $12 while supplies last. Refills only $6. Must be 21 or older to purchase. It's Zootoberfest at the Memphis Zoo every Saturday and Sunday, 10 to 5 in October.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, Orco hard coolers, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss Sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South Sports Station.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Back in and rolling on Sports Time on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats Bryant. Take us on the ones and twos all day, doing a fantastic job. But as we do normally at 3:30 on a Wednesday, we bring in my brother from Eastern Iowa, KGYM Radio in Cedar Rapids, talk some college football. We bring in Alex Kuhn at AlexKuhn523 on Twitter. Alex, what's up, man?
Not a whole lot.
Alex.
How are you guys?
We're doing well. We had a good conversation because it's 10 years to the day since David Freese did his thing in Game 6. Another Lafayette alum, right?
Yes, another Lafayette alum, but I remember that game very well.
Where were you? You were in college. I mean, were you at Iowa or Ball State at that point?
Yeah, I was in my apartment in Iowa City.
Okay.
In Game 6.
That first one, that was a nice apartment.
Yeah, well, nice.
I remember you and your roommate didn't quite get along though. Is that true?
No,
Can you confirm?
Not exactly, but I remember that game well because of the fact that at least 3 times I accepted that the Cardinals season had come to an end.
Oh, me too. Me too, Alex.
And Brett was there, was in the flesh.
I can tell you a great story. In fact, sitting a row behind us, it took me a long time to tell this story without getting cracked up. I'm very emotional. The row behind us was grandparents with a granddaughter that was special needs. Mm-hmm. And during the 7th inning stretch, when it looked pretty hopeless, she belted out right on cue every note of Take Me Out to the Ball Game. It was beautiful. Mm-hmm. It was beautiful.
Right.
And that kind of got in my feels, and I was ready on both down to one strike. Both times I was going to turn around and tell her, we'll get them next year. And I was prepared for it both times. And then everything happened.
And everything did happen. That was just, to this day, in the bottom of the 9th inning, 3-2, hit a triple over the right fielder's head.
She was such a doll, just a doll. And she was as happy as all of us. And, Alex, you were celebrating Iowa City. And now the Braves look like they're 3 away from celebrating, aren't they?
Yeah, the Braves right now are America's team. Now, it's tough because my co-host is a big baseball guy, and he's been part of a wagering deal with the casino where he's been given some credit with some of the other local sports guys in Iowa to bet on the World Series, the contest between some of the local personalities. And I see a lot of people picking the Braves. Or prior to the series, I had seen a lot of people picking the Braves, and I was wondering, do you actually believe the Braves are going to win, or is that everybody rooting against the hated Astros? But Braves are off to a good start.
And they have gotten hot at a great time with sort of the island of misfit toys too. All the guys that they got at the trade deadline have somehow worked out, especially when it mattered most. Rosario's
really
been unbelievable.
His players just plugged in, and in the Cardinals that year in 2011, we talked about Lance Berkman earlier. Heck, in 2006, the Cardinals got had some guys plugged in. You really do have to kind of do it kind of out of the portal down the stretch in baseball, Alex.
Yeah, I think back to that 2011 team, like you said, Berkman and Beltran and some of those guys that
Rafael Belliard, I think.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, when the Cardinals were
forgot
going
about him.
When the Cardinals had their not to say that they've completely fallen off, but when they were making CS after NLCS, and getting into the World Series and winning World Series, they'd always have that guy that they picked up at the trade deadline or that veteran reclamation project or two that didn't work out in their prior stop and all of a sudden turned into an all-star for them.
And we were also talking about their MVPs of the World Series, David Eckstein and David Freese. I mean, come on. It's just ridiculous to even think about. Now, to the Big Ten East. We have Michigan at Michigan State, Penn State at Ohio State. I care a little less about that one. We'll talk about that one, though, too. Michigan at Michigan State. I talked to Brett about this yesterday. Harbaugh in ranked road matchups is 2-8, and he's 0-5 versus top 10. You think he actually has a chance to go on the road and beat this Michigan State team this weekend?
They're a 4-point favorite in East Lansing. Wow. Yeah, I do. I think it's going to be a close game, but I'm enticed by Michigan State because their offense is two-pronged. They can throw the football, and they have one of the best running backs in the country, and Kenneth Walker. Yes, Michigan is coming off of that win last week where they took care of business against the lowly Wildcats.
Mm-hmm.
But they gave up points to Nebraska. I'm just not quite there yet on Michigan. I think they're a solid team. But I also think Michigan State is two teams. Guys, everybody talks about Ohio State and Michigan as the biggest rivalry in the Big Ten and maybe the biggest rivalry in all of college football. That may be true from a prestige standpoint, from a narrative standpoint, from sort of our standpoint, like for the fans. They dislike each other. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, on the field, there are not teams in the Big Ten that hate each other more than Michigan and Michigan State.
I believe
that.
They I believe
despise
that.
each other.
We got to name these next few weeks in the Big Ten something. I mean, it feels like a coal miner's glove match or a double ring elimination match where you throw them from one ring to the. I mean, because this is really going to be a playoff in the season to sort out the Big Ten, and then I think it will leave it, Alex, to where whomever emerges out of the Big Ten championship game, no questions about it. That team's in the playoffs.
Yeah, and what's happening in the Big Ten East now is kind of the whittling down of who is that team out of the East. Ohio State, more than likely. And who's the favorite college football playoff? Because whoever wins the East is going to be the odds-on favorite to win in Indianapolis in the Big Ten championship game against either Iowa or Wisconsin or, heck, even Minnesota. Let's see how the Gophers do the rest of the season because things all of a sudden have gotten a lot more interesting in the Big Ten West. And, oh, by the way, on that side of the conference, Wisconsin and Iowa, wouldn't you know it, play each other at Camp Randall
Wisconsin
Stadium.
could win out.
They could. And the guys, they found the running game that Wisconsin – when they're going bad offensively, you can count on one thing. They're not running the football well. They have to be able to run the football to succeed offensively, and their freshman, Braylon Allen, has a few 100-plus yard games in a row, and they're running the ball very, very well.
From a team that could, from a standpoint of just a wrecker, a team that could wreck everything, is Penn State a scary one in that regard after losing to Illinois last week?
I don't think so. Did you guys see James Franklin's press conference this week when he tried to dispel rumors that he was interested in the USC job?
Yeah, he still got Illinois on the mind.
Yeah, he mentioned, he goes, "No, yeah, we're just thinking about Illinois," and he said it twice.
Coach, it's time to forget about
that. Yeah. You're not playing Illinois.
Then he said something about being excited to go to the Big House.
And then he hires Jimmy Sexton too in the same week.
Well, yeah, exactly. The Big House is in Ann Arbor. They're playing Ohio State. So
the big house is at Poplar and Ridgeway, Jimmy's office.
You think
the big house
you think his mind's somewhere else? Is that what you're telling us?
I'm not. All right, hey, I'm not drawing any conclusions in his statement of how he's not distracted and how he's focusing on his team. He named the wrong team and the wrong venue for this week's game, so you decide.
I will decide, and I have already made my call to Brett several times on this show. I think USC is where he might end up by next year. I do. And you know what? Have we gotten to a point with the coaching searches where we just report everything? Jeff Fisher's name was mentioned this week. Mike Tomlin's name was mentioned this week. What has happened to reporting around coaching searches nowadays, especially for the prominent jobs? It's ridiculous.
Well, it's interesting. So, by the way, I mentioned yesterday on our show that the state of Pennsylvania yesterday was center stage for showing the polar opposite ends of the spectrum on how to handle coaching search rumors.
Oh, yeah.
You had Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh,
You're
and
right.
you had James Franklin in State College. So Mike Tomlin's response was phenomenal. Now, that rumor extended from Carson Palmer joining Dan Patrick's show. Didn't say anything like Mike Tomlin would be interested. He said, what if just talking to Dan Patrick, what if Mike Tomlin would want to leave the job to the Steelers? It wasn't necessarily, and then people thought that, right? Like, do we take that headline? Even Carson Palmer and Dan Patrick pressed Carson Palmer on that very topic and said, wait, Mike Tomlin.
And he doubled down.
Carson Palmer said, you guys haven't heard that yet? He goes, no. And Carson Palmer goes, uh-oh. Why do you say uh-oh? Because he knows how the social media and media landscape works in 2021.
Right.
That just that utterance right there is going to spread like wildfire, and then Mike Tomlin gets asked about it at the next press conference he was at and gives the best response I've ever seen to a coaching search rumor question.
Never say never, but never was the best line. No, I mean, no questions asked. Because you have a lot of guys around the country right now. I mentioned at the end of the show yesterday, Sonny Dykes just sort of sidestepped the question about Texas Tech and everything else. But Alex, we watched Jeff Fisher coach for the Rams, the St. Louis Rams at the end. How in the world could anyone even if I heard that as a reporter, I don't know if I could report it. I don't know if I could see. In my heart of hearts,
he has to have family in the media.
I would say there's no chance that is true. I'm not going to report that.
So that's right. This is another very important point. We're just a few weeks removed from the emails being released from the NFL, basically implicating, John Gruden, but also add a very unflattering story about NFL insider Adam Schefter sending unedited or unfinished stories to Bruce Allen and calling him Mr. Editor. Right. And it brings up a very, very important point. There's this relationship between a lot of insiders and their sources who are higher ups within a league that they get scoops, right? Now, what's that relationship like? What does it take to get that type of access? And when you hear these rumors being floated, like in 2018 when Schefter came out and said that Condoleezza Rice was going to be considered for the Cleveland Browns job, it sounds pretty similar to when Brett McMurphy comes out and says that Jeff Fisher is going to be considered for the USC job. Now, I just wish that these scoop reporters would do two things when they get this type of information. They would think, one, who gave me this information, and why did they give it to me?
Yep.
Just at least think about the motive for just a second. Mm-hmm. And two, does it make any logical sense?
I would start with one logical sense, and then think about who sent it to me. Because
okay, well, either way, just think about those.
Yeah, right. Very true. Condoleezza Rice. That was a wild time, wasn't it? That was great. That was one of the best reports ever sent out. All right, before we let you go, I had a conversation with you, and I know we're running a little bit long. Before I let you go, you made a case for me. You said if Bama, it's one of those years, even if Bama loses the SEC championship, you think that they should could possibly slide into the college football playoff. I want to hear that case right now on the air, on these airwaves.
Wait, say it. What do you mean the case?
You said it's one of those years. You don't believe in Oklahoma. I'm not sure you believe in a lot of teams out of the Big Ten.
Who lost Bama as the 4 seed?
Yeah, I mean, who we putting in? Who we putting in? That's all.
Kentucky.
Kentucky's a possibility.
Kentucky. I have a
Ole
feeling
Miss.
Kentucky could have another loss on their schedule, and I get Ole Miss. I love Ole Miss, but Alabama won that game. Here is
pretty
what
handily.
I'm saying. I'm not for. I don't think Oklahoma's a very good football team.
Do you think they'll lose before the year's over?
I think they'll lose before the year's over. I think Oregon will lose again before the year is over. Georgia, if Cincinnati wins out, they'll be in. The Big Ten, which I said I think will be Ohio State, and then whoever. Okay, we'll see. I want to see how this all shakes out. But basically, my point is, I didn't have any faith in any of the teams that were remaining that were unbeaten going into last week. One of them, Oklahoma State, lost, so they're out now.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Oklahoma is undefeated. I just don't think that they have resembled a top 4 team this year at all.
And I agree with you, but I think by the end of if we get to the end of the season and you have a Big 12 champion Oklahoma at 13-0, it's just you are locked in there. You have no choice.
Yeah, I just don't think that will happen.
Yeah, and also this could all work itself out if Bama and Georgia play in the SEC championship and Bama wins. One loss Georgia, one loss Bama are both making it in. I don't care who you are. They're absolutely, the committee will put both of those in. But Alex, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you joining us.
Great stuff, Alex.
Talk to you guys.
Thank you. You got it.
But yeah, I don't disagree with him on the Oklahoma thought that they may lose another game down the stretch, but they can win all those games as well. Let's not.
I'm going to say it, Gabe. I didn't know if I'd ever say this. This is the NCAA tournament. This is a late February, early March discussion. This is a soft bubble.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is.
In college football. This is a soft bubble.
Yes. In 2 weeks or in 3 weeks or so, when the Big Ten East goes through all of these games, I really want to know where we stand. I want to know exactly what those teams look like, what the records are, what the resumes are shaping out to be. Because it is.
Could be some people bulldozed.
Brett, it's a fun year. It is really a fun year. Clemson's completely out of the picture. We're going to get someone new. You're getting someone new. That's all we need to know about it. But
and let Oklahoma slip up one time. I think the voters and the committee's ready to punish them. Remember, starting next Tuesday night, whatever the AP's voting doesn't matter anymore. It's all CFP committee.
Yes, that's very true. That's very true. November 2nd, first CFP rankings will release. On the other side, we're going to come back. We're going to revisit this World Series conversation. Irkwoody tonight versus Freed in Game 2 in Houston. We'll discuss that and more right here on Sportstime.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Fall is in the air, and so are Choate's Early Bird Specials. Right now, receive $1,000 off the purchase of a new Carrier gas furnace. Carrier furnaces come with some of the best warranties in the industry, and Choate's has been professionally installing them for over 60 years. As a Carrier factory authorized dealer, Choate's also offers competitive financing solutions for you and your family. If your heating system is in good shape, make sure you take advantage of Choate's Early Bird Tune-Up Special for $60. This tune-up is an in-depth 20-point inspection to make sure your furnace is ready for the winter season ahead. So call 347-8086 to schedule your early bird special today. And turn to the experts with Choate's and let our family serve your family.
Tiger Nation, your 2021 NIT champion Memphis Tigers are back and ready to make a splash in the American Conference. Season tickets are on sale now. Don't miss a minute of the action with the #1 recruiting class and a brand new coaching staff with Hall of Famer Larry Brown and former NBA star Rasheed Wallace. To lock in your seats for all the action and excitement, call 901-678-2331 or visit GoTigersGoTix.com today.
Hi, Hi, folks. I keep hearing about a shortage of good vehicles to purchase these days. Well, I can fix that. Just follow me to Auto Universe Germantown. I was blown away by the amount of high-quality vehicles they have. Something they call affordable luxury, and I would agree. And talk about variety. How about Lexus, Infiniti, Audi, Jeep, not to mention, but I will anyway, Mercedes, Nissan, Honda, Chevy, and Toyota. Tremendous pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs, and they're always adding more. Hey, I know this family. They have everything we want under one roof. No haggle, affordable pricing, simplified financing, top service technicians, even collision repair. Remember the old Mazda location in Germantown? That's where they're located, 7300 Winchester, and online at eautouniverse.com. So take it from me, if you want to avoid the new car price but still want a luxury, slightly loved vehicle, head on over to Auto Universe Germantown. Would I steer you wrong? Get it? At Auto Universe Germantown, only the best make it here.
They say this game can take you far. Your moves can take you further. Make moves that start movements.
Hennessy, spirit of the Memphis Grizzlies.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Quick text here on the AutoZone listener line, 901-360-8255 to follow. Also, watch us live and message us, as some have already, on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and at sports56whbq.com. Listener, sort of a tongue-in-cheek question here. Should BYU be able to play in the Pac-12 title game? If they beat USC, they'd be 5-0. And they have beaten.
Great question.
They have beaten Arizona, Utah, Arizona State, Washington State last week, and then they end the year against USC at USC. So, I mean, can we claim their 2021 Pac-12 championship? Champions?
And going forward in their basketball tournament, they're usually a Sunday finish. Well, they're not going to be able to do that with BYU. They're going to have to, to adapt to their religious requests and issues. Right. That have to be a Saturday finish. So they're going to have to start that tournament a day earlier.
But as far as football goes, Kalani Sitake's done a really good job there the past couple
of years.
He sure
has.
And
They were good last year.
Yeah, lose Zach Wilson and then sort of reload this year. Replacing a guy like that, that's tough.
Isn't that a place that kind of always finds a quarterback? Now, it's not always Jim McMahon or Ty Detmer or Steve Young, but they always find somebody very sufficient.
Mm-hmm, they do. They've had some injuries at that position, though, this year, but they're still rolling along pretty nicely.
And the maturity of that team, because a lot of those guys have put in, the service years. And, Gabe, I think you're seeing that with Kentucky and a little bit with Ole Miss, a little more veteran team than they normally have because of last year's COVID year's issues.
Oh, that helps. That helps drastically. BYU, though, every year you're playing every year against BYU, you're playing against 26, 27-year-olds.
Full-up grown men.
Yes. Mean grown men, too. We've talked about that before. Now, tonight in the World Series, Game 2, the Braves try to go up 2-0 in Houston, and it's going to be Urquidy versus Fried. I am concerned, I have to say, about the Braves pitching now that Charlie Morton's down. That limits them.
They better win this thing quick.
That limits them drastically. As you get to the back of the series, Charlie Morton not in the fold, not a guy that you can rely on in a playoff situation.
You need more bodies.
You get concerned. I would imagine if this thing gets deep, you're going to see a lot more openers. Not a lot of guys that can eat up a lot of innings, because I just don't know if they have the arms. But then you look on the other side with the Astros. I don't know if they have guys that can hold up all that long. I don't think their rotation is as good as it has been in past years. So we will keep an eye on it. And that, obviously, first pitch will be 7:09. We'll talk with Chris Gordy from the Astros Network later at 5 o'clock about that as well. But on the other side, we bring on our friend from Huntsville to talk Bama and the SEC, Drew DeArmond. We'll do that when we come back on Sports 56 98.5.
Testing? Hey, can you hear me? You can? Well, if you enjoy hunting or shooting, how important is your hearing? If your kids hunt and shoot, how can you protect their hearing? Well, the guys at Tactical Guns and Gear in Collierville can get you set up with a silencer for your rifle, handgun, even your shotgun. I promise they'll get you on your way to a much more enjoyable shooting experience. They have more silencers in stock than you'll find anywhere, and so much more, all in one stop. Save your hearing while you still can. Tactical Guns and Gear, Highway 72 in Collierville. Can you hear me now?
Folks, it looks like food shortages are here and going to stick around. Supply chains are breaking down, and inflation is back with a vengeance. It's all part of the shortage economy. What used to be unthinkable is now in the headlines. Are you ready? Do you currently have a stockpile of emergency food at home? If not, go to mypatriotsupply.com today, and you'll find an emergency food kit that's right for you and your family. My Patriot Supply is the largest preparedness company in America, serving millions of families like yours. Pick up a 3-month food kit that stays fresh for up to 25 years in proper storage. The meals in the kit provide over 2,000 delicious calories a day. That's important when you need to survive. Order from mypatriotsupply.com and your food will ship fast in unmarked boxes to protect your privacy. Don't wait for permission or more empty store shelves. Go to mypatriotsupply.com now. mypatriotsupply.com.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
I got him on the line, Jeff Allen, the king of Happy at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah.
Hey folks, need a new ride that gets 41 MPG? 2021 Kia Forte, $249 a month. 2021 Kia Rio S hatchback, 41 MPG, only $258 a month. Plus a 2022 turbocharged Kia Soul, ready for that road trip at $267 a month.
Plus, you'll always get Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty program. Remember, Forte $249, Rio $258, Soul $267. And don't sell your trade till you check with us.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah, 2680 Mount Moriah, or KiaMountMoriah.com.
All 72 months at 2.9%, $29.99 down payment. Forte, ME 409-215, MSRP 19,335. Rio, ME 427,894, MSRP 19,755. Soul, N 7808-276, MSRP 20,615. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695. Must finance through Kia on low APR. Excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/31/21. Dealer stock only.
Need to sell your home? You're in luck because I buy houses. All you have to do is call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that PIN, 901-406-1101, or just save it in your phone. Bill at I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses buys houses in any area, in any condition, at any time. As simple as that. I Buy Houses is guaranteed to close in 5 days. So if you need your cash fast, just call Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. Has your house been on the market? Were you just tired of renters? Or is it just time to start over? Well, avoid repairing, cleaning, painting, and prepping your house. Just pick up the phone and call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses. If you're in Southwind, South Memphis, North Mississippi, North Memphis, Collierville, if you can hear this, just call my friend Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Second hour begins with some college football talk. We go to Huntsville, to the Rocket City, and visit with our friend Drew DeArmond on Twitter at DrewD977ESPN, the ESPN affiliate, 97.7 in Huntsville. It will be brought to you in part by our friends at Belly Acres. Belly Acres' motto is City-Fied Farm Fresh. The goal is simple: provide a fun, unique farm-to-table experience for the entire family, and they've done that with 2 great locations and the third on the way really soon. Regalia at 6130 Poplar, and in Overton Square at 2102 Trimble Place. Overton Square hours Sunday through Thursday, 11 a to 9 p. Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. At Regalia on Sunday through Thursday, 10:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 10:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. That's where you can get those signature burgers that are made from 100% grass-fed beef, sandwiches, salads, and the best milkshakes anywhere. All the burgers are so good. Try the Double Dairy or the Dairy or the Voodoo Moo Moo. All so very good. And the quality brand, the Belly Acres team that they've developed, they've done it using grass-fed beef with creative homemade toppings in a fun farm setting right here in the city. The goal at Belly Acres is to become even more sustainable as they grow. They're in Overton Square and in Regalia, and coming soon, a third great location. The very best quality available in Memphis, burger, shakes, and smiles at Belly Acres. Another win for Alabama on Saturday night over Tennessee. That wasn't in question going into the game. It was a little dicey at times during that game, but Drew DeArmond joins us now to talk Bama, to talk Auburn, to talk the SEC. And, Drew, you're going to participate, I hope you will, with us in our exercise that we're going to spring on you at some point in this segment with you. Gabe and I are going to go over all the SEC teams. Some speak for themselves, and we want you, and we will give ours, and we want our listeners to jump in with the best wins and the worst losses for every team in the league this year. Good afternoon, Drew. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, Gabe. Brett, it's great to be with you on Sports Time. I always enjoy being on in Memphis. And, yeah, it's been an interesting SEC season so far, no question about that. And look forward to talking some ball with you guys.
Drew, it always –
Saturday night. I'm sorry, Gabe. Saturday night for the Bama-Tennessee game. The expected finish – but Tennessee, they're showing signs. I don't want to patronize them. I don't. They're not full back, but we know they're coming back, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think it was probably the most well-coached Tennessee team I've seen in over a decade. I mean, I thought they played hard. I thought they were sound in what they were doing. Certainly they got a lot of penalties, which they're going to, especially pre-snap. I think they ended up with 12 or 13 on the game, which didn't help, but Hendon Hooker showed a lot of toughness by playing because I saw the end of the Ole Miss game. I know you were there, of course, covering it for the Rebels. And with the way he left the game, not putting any weight on his leg, I was, skeptical that he would be in the lineup. I thought it would be Joe Milton, but he played. He certainly played well. But I thought the key to the game, much like when Alabama beat Ole Miss, was they stopped the run. And the one thing Alabama has done this year, I think they're 6th in the country in run defense. They made Tennessee one-dimensional. The one thing that they did do that they've got to clean up during the bye is they made a couple of mistakes in the secondary, and it was a couple of veteran guys. Daniel Wright, who got benched, and DeMarco Hellams took his spot. And then Josh Jobe, kind of got caught with his hand in the cookie jar, wasn't set, and got beat off the line by Cedric Tillman. So they've got to, clean up those busts. But, I mean, I will say I know the Alabama defense is taking some heat, and so is Pete Golding this year. But for the most part, during every game, they've had really really good moments where they were not maybe elite, but they were very, very, very good. And then they've had moments where it was like a roller coaster where they just weren't consistent. They probably played their best game in Starkville against Mississippi State. I still think this team has, got a lot of room to grow, which for a Nick Saban team is kind of sounds funny because the team has such high expectations year in and year out. But I still think the best football is yet to be played by this group, which is probably a good thing when you've got Georgia looming at the end. But Alabama still has to get there. They have to win this next game against LSU coming out of the bye, and they should get Drew Sanders back at strong side linebacker at the Sam spot. And then they're going to have to, beat Arkansas. New Mexico State's a layup. But then the Auburn game and Jordan Hare is looming. And, Brett, as you know, there's always some voodoo there. Yeah. So Alabama has to they haven't won there since 2015. So that's a hurdle.
I've
that
seen
this
some funky
group is
stuff
gonna
on
have
the
to get
Plains.
by. Yeah.
Always.
No doubt.
And Drew, with this Bama team and with a Nick Saban coach team, it seems like when they take a loss, it serves as a wake-up call. Last 2 weeks, I know the Tennessee game was close to the end, but 52 points in that one, 49 points in the Mississippi State game. How much of a wake-up call do you think that Texas A&M game was to some of the younger players on that team?
Well, I mean, when you look at Will Anderson and how emotional he was, in the days after the game, I think it was a huge wake-up call. Of course, he tried to wake some of his teammates up after the Florida game where they dominated the first quarter and then didn't play nearly as well the final three, but found a way to win because Bryce Young has just been tremendous so far at quarterback for Alabama. Probably he and Matt Corral, the two best in the SEC. So, to me, I think this group hopefully has the wake-up call that they needed. I think the schedule sets up for them well. But the funny thing is that I do think one issue with this group, and I wondered about it all the way back into the spring, was the leadership. There's a lot of great leaders that, graduated or left early and moved on to the NFL after last season. And I think that it's taken some time for this group, for some guys to step up. And it's unusual to have, maybe your two best leaders be sophomores, but in many ways, Bryce Young with quiet leadership and confidence, and then Will Anderson probably are the two best leaders on the squad, probably along with senior Fedarian Mathis, who has really tried to lead since last season. So it's going to be interesting down the stretch with this group to see how much better they can get, because I think they can, and they're going to need to, because they have no margin for error. I was asked this earlier today, can they afford another loss to get into the playoff? No, they can't. So they're going to have to play, error-free football from the standpoint of they're going to have to win every game from here on out. Now, they did that in 2015, so we'll see if this group can do that. The 2015 group was more of a veteran team, so this is really going to be a kind of a contrasting study to watch this Alabama team play down the stretch in November.
Drew, I did it on Monday, and I prefaced it with it makes me mad every year when I do it about this time, around Halloween, around the 1st of November. I look at the league, and maybe I'm for good or for bad, I'm too close. Maybe I squeeze it too tight, love it maybe a little too much. But every team, I could go through every team except for Georgia, and maybe even with Georgia, the notable exception with their quarterback issue, but they can't help that. And every team, it's kind of and national naysayers could do this, and it might make me mad to hear them do it, and then I do it. Everybody's a yeah, but. You could go through you could go through Alabama, yeah, but you got a young quarterback, the experience issue you just mentioned. Ole Miss, yeah, but who have they really beat? Kentucky, yeah, but who have they really beat? And you really gonna trust Kentucky? You can go through everybody like that. You cover them, you know them well. Tell me the yeah, but for Auburn.
Well, I mean, I think that with Auburn, I think their best win was Arkansas to me. I thought, even though if you go back and look at their history under Gus Malzahn, he put emphasis on that game due to where he was from and wanted to always make a statement against them. But I thought it was their best win because of how Bo Nix played. That was more what I saw. He threw the ball well. He threw the ball down the field well. And you guys know the old adage, Alabama certainly went through it in College Station. It's amazing what happens when the receivers catch the ball. And they caught the ball in that game, and I think that was Auburn's probably best win to me. And then I think and you almost have a yeah, but for me, even though they won it with the Georgia State game, because when I watched the way that game developed, and really they got whipped at the line of scrimmage, that really kind of disturbed you, because I coming in, I thought that would be a 17-21, maybe 24-point Auburn win. I didn't think that Derek Mason's defense would get handled like that at the line of scrimmage, but they managed to find a way to escape. I think a missed call on a replay on a drop ball by John Samuel Shanker probably played a lot to do with that. But again, I think if you look at it with Auburn, they're probably their worst loss to me. I mean, they're both solid, but it would still have to be Penn State, because when you look at it, this Penn State team, it turns out, is not that good. They lost to Illinois. Auburn really had moments in that game where they controlled the line of scrimmage, but the drops and the lack of execution on offense, and I think a questionable call in the red zone really kind of cost them that game. I think the Auburn Tigers have actually done a nice job under Brian Harsin. To me, they look more fundamentally sound on both sides of the ball, but at the same time, I'm still not sold on their defense, and I think this game against Ole Miss at home at Jordan-Hare Stadium is going to be kind of a fork-in-the-road game for Auburn. It's going to decide if they have a chance to take it down to Jordan-Hare for the final game of the regular season, potentially to play for the West, or is this going to be what I thought it was, and that's going to be maybe an 8-4, 7-5 type year for Brian Harsin in his first season on the Plains.
You can ask Brett about this. I've had my questions about Brian Harsin. Just is he better? Can he have a better outcome year to year than Gus Malzahn? What's your feel on that? Compared to the team under Gus, how much better or worse do you think this year's team has been?
Was it an upgrade?
Well, I think it's been an upgrade, no question about it. I think for what they're doing, they're back to being physical on the line of scrimmage, trying to run the ball. Now, they haven't run it as well as they want to since the first two, tomato can wins, and they didn't run it all that well at Penn State at times. But I think that's more to do with the functionality of the offensive line. I don't think the offensive line while they're experienced.
They've had issues recruiting offensive line, too.
Yeah,
under Gus, that was the big issue.
Yeah, I mean, Brian Harsin and his coaching staff took a couple of guys late, but this will stun you. Before they did that, Gus Malzahn's staff had not signed a high school offensive tackle since 2017.
Jarring.
They had taken all JUCOs and transfer portal guys, so they had not been developing offensive linemen. That's one of the first things Coach Harsin and his group are going to have to do. Now, they have finally started utilizing the tight ends, and I feel sorry for John Samuel Shanker. He's also a baseball player at Auburn, by the way. I think he's a future NFL player that had most of his career wasted at Auburn because they didn't throw him the football. But this coaching staff change probably has helped him salvage his career on the gridiron. So that's been good for him. And I think, defensively, Derek Mason's always been solid. He made his bones, under David Shaw at Stanford, and they have some really good defenses there. I think they're getting more and more comfortable in his system at Auburn now. But, he's been without, Owen Papo at times. Jacoby McClain has kind of become the heartbeat of that defense. But they did lose Jacoby in one game to a targeting penalty, which I can't stand the way that rule is. I wish it was one of those deals where you had to get maybe 2 fouls to be ejected from a game. But I do think Auburn needs to improve their pass rush as well. The Leota kid from, Northwestern has kind of been a surprise. But overall, I think this is a good but not great Auburn defense. And so that's why I'm fascinated to see this game against Ole Miss, because I think Ole Miss's defense has improved as well. But I think this could be another game where it's a 31-28, 27-24 type game, and it may come down to which quarterback plays better. And Matt Corral has been one of the best in the country so far, but he took a beating against Tennessee with those 30 carries, and I know he gutted it out against LSU. So I'm going to be interested to see how healthy he is going into this road contest, and if Bo Nix can come out of this bye and continue the level of play we saw against the Razorbacks.
All right, let's get in hurry up, no huddle offense here and go through these teams. We'll do it alphabetically. Best win, worst loss. We'll start alphabetically. Alabama, best win, worst loss. Drew.
Well, I think the best win still has to be the Ole Miss Rebels, considering how good I think a job Lane Kiffin's done. Worst loss, Texas A&M. They did not take care of business there, and then they made just enough mistakes to allow a very talented Aggies team to take them out at home.
I'm going to go a little different. I'm going to say best win at the Swamp in that heat. Worst loss speaks for itself. A&M. Gabe?
Yeah, worst loss, and there's only one loss. I'm going to go Ole Miss, too, because I thought they just sort of handed it to Ole Miss. I mean, we thought that was going to be a close game. It really was not.
They really whipped them. They really did. Arkansas, best win for me. Texas, worst loss at home to Auburn in Fayetteville, the 11 o'clock kick. They should have had that game.
Well, I would agree with that. Texas, because it means so much historically to the Hog people. That atmosphere, talking to Trey Biddy and folks close to that program, was unbelievable. And, yes, I think the worst loss for Arkansas, had to be the Auburn game because, Sam Pittman really put a lot of emphasis on it. I knew he felt like they were trying to stay in the SEC Western Division race, and they fell flat, and they made some questionable calls on a couple of fourth downs. So I would agree with that, no doubt. Worst loss against Auburn.
Yeah, Auburn, you can't get beat like that at home, especially with how you had played Ole Miss that week before. My best win, though, I'm going to have to go A&M because A&M has sort of turned it on the back half of the season.
Broke that streak.
And when they beat them, A&M, top 10 team, and A&M could by the end of the year be in that conversation as well.
Auburn, best win for me was on the road at Arkansas. Worst loss at Penn State.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I almost consider Georgia State a loss, but they won it on the scoreboard.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I can't be that mean to them.
I've got to go with Arkansas and how Bo played, even though what he did against LSU was very impressive as well. But LSU's not a very good football team. Arkansas is much improved. To win on the road, that was the best win. And then Penn State, that would have been kind of a signature win early for Brian Harsin. Turns out it was probably the Arkansas win, but yeah, I would agree. Penn State, the worst loss for Auburn of the two. Georgia, they were just completely overmatched.
My best win, I'm going to go LSU because they came. It was comeback fashion at their place. I thought that was a good sort of win, and if you would have lost that one, it might be your worst loss of the year. So they sort of figured that one out late. Worst loss, though, no question, Penn State. It has to be Penn State.
The Florida Gators, best win for me for Florida, Tennessee. Because I thought I even predicted Tennessee would win that game straight up that week. Worst loss, it's got to be any time they lose to Kentucky.
Yeah, I would agree, no doubt, with Florida. I do think that that their best win was in that game, Brett. I think when you talk about beating Tennessee, they beat them 34-17, I believe it was. They doubled them up. And Tennessee has actually proven to be a much improved team. So getting that win was big. I don't think there's any doubt about it because their other wins really were pedestrian before that. Yeah, the loss to Kentucky was not good. This is a Kentucky team that's improved offensively and good along the lines of scrimmage, but they outgained Kentucky severely. I want to say 382 to 211. So it was really a mismatch statistically, but they were so bad in the red zone. And I really think part of it has been Dan Mullen not sticking to Anthony Richardson and giving him more of a shot at quarterback. Emory Jones has turned the ball over too much, and that's why I'm going to be fascinated to see if they start Anthony Richardson against Georgia, because I think that's the only shot the Gators have to stay in the game against the Dogs.
Yeah, so best win Tennessee for me. That LSU game, though, LSU hadn't run the ball at all going into that game. And then after against Ole Miss, could not run the ball. Got held at 2.2, I think, 2 yards per carry. And LSU ran
like Nebraska, early 90s.
All over Florida. And I just still don't understand that. We talked to Barrett Jones about it, and he doesn't understand how that happened. They ran for 330, and I just thought that was a terrible loss, even though you were at their place.
For Georgia, best win for Georgia. They have no losses. Best win for Georgia. I'm going to say Kentucky and how they handled them. No, not Clemson on opening day because Clemson's proven not to be very good. And if they have a loss, maybe worse loss to lose Rick Gilbert, the tight end, Drew.
Well, I think really for Georgia, their best win for me was Arkansas. The way they destroyed them, 37-0. I mean, and that's a pretty good Arkansas football team.
It set the tone. It set the tone for them.
They beat Texas A&M, they beat Texas, and they completely just destroyed them. And really, Sam Pittman's team had no chance. And then, of course, they don't have any losses. But I would say probably the injuries to Blaylock and Pickens because they haven't been able to get them involved. You could say J.T. Daniels, but, Stetson Bennett has, picked up the baton so far. I still have doubts if he can win the whole thing in the college football playoff because I think J.T. Daniels is the guy that they need to come back But I will say this: I'm not expecting him to be in the lineup against Florida. I think it'll be Bennett. This injury to me smells like the Miles Brennan one from a year ago, where he wasn't able to come back for LSU. So I'm not sure that we're going to see JT Daniels. At least if we do, it may not be to the college football playoff. But I would say probably the injuries to Blaylock, Pickens, and JT Daniels are the biggest losses for Georgia. But right now, they've got the best defense in America, and they're playing really good complementary football.
Yeah, tone-setting win against Arkansas is the best win. But no losses, obviously. But that Clemson win does not look near as good as it did week one. I'll tell you that.
Kentucky, best win for me. Florida, worst loss. Well, their only loss, and that's not too bad a loss. Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt. I think I've always thought Mark Stoops done a solid job, and anytime they've beaten Florida twice during his tenure, and one was with Terry Wilson in Gainesville, but they had, for whatever reason, Florida had been the boogeyman that they could not beat in Lexington. They came so close under Mark Stoops before. They would always find a way to lose the game late and make a huge defensive mistake or offensive or just something offensively or in the kicking game. It really didn't matter. Somehow they would make a mistake in one of the three phases to lose. This time they took the game from Florida. They block a field goal. They return it for a touchdown, which was the biggest play in the game, really, that really got them rolling. Their defense stood on their head, the red zone all day, kind of like a good hockey goalie. And so I just really think that overall that was a great win for Kentucky, and it was a tough loss against Georgia. But again, it was one of those things where I think they were overmatched and couldn't do enough offensively.
Yeah, but they worked. They worked. I don't fault the effort, but Georgia's just too much. But yeah, I'd say best win as well, Florida.
Everybody in agreement on LSU best win for LSU against Florida. For me, worst loss the day they hired Ed Orgeron.
I'll give it to you. But that Auburn loss, and I know I gave Auburn credit for that win, but that Auburn loss, hold them off at home. Hold them off. Don't let them get 14 points in the fourth quarter and beat you.
I agree with Gabe. Best win against Florida, and worst loss against Auburn. That's inexplicable. When they had a 13-0 lead, they were dominating the game, but typical of Orgeron's teams.
Right.
Ole Miss best win, I think it was Arkansas, because if that had been a loss, I don't know if the last two weekends would have happened. I think that would have been the tone setter. I think the Arkansas win, the best win, 52-51. Worst loss, they really got whipped at Alabama. I think everybody will agree with the loss. Drew, your best win for Ole Miss?
Yeah, I think it was Arkansas. They had to find a way to hold on and win because they had really played poorly against them last year and lost in Fayetteville. Way to win at home and to prove their offense is one of the best in the country and can outscore somebody. And then worst loss was Alabama just because of all the hype and circumstance with Nick Saban and Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, I agree on your guys' picks. I will say these last two wins, though, more workmen, and I appreciate sort of what they've done these past 2 weeks, going out, beating solid teams that could have handed you a loss.
Mississippi State, I think their best win. A&M, their worst loss. LSU Tigers, it was at home. The game against Memphis was on the road against a weaker LSU team. They'd like to have that one back in Starkville. Drew?
Well, I would say the best win was A&M. That was a huge signature win for Mike Leach. I would slightly disagree. I would say Memphis was a terrible loss for Mississippi State. But, of course, Mo, Larry, and Curley officiating had something to do with that. But, still, I think anytime you lose to someone, no disrespect to the Memphis Tigers, who are a very solid program, but SEC doesn't need to do that, and I thought it was a bad loss for State.
As you say, tread lightly, Drew. Don't go too far with it. But I'll say worst loss, LSU, best win, Texas A&M.
Missouri.
Real quick, though, that was a different Memphis team at that time. That was
very different.
A lot more confident Memphis team
sure
at
was.
that time.
Very, very confident team on that day. Best win for Mizzou. Ooh, it's tough to find one.
SEMO, Central Michigan?
Opening day against Jim McElwain, but I don't think McElwain was even there opening day, was he?
Not sure.
Worst loss up at Boston College in overtime, guys, quickly.
Yeah, I would say probably their best win was Central Michigan in the opener. They haven't really done anything signature-wise within the league. And then I'd say yes, as far as the worst loss, no question about it, Boston College, they had a chance to win that game. Though I will say, I would probably say Tennessee as well. Tennessee was a game that they were thought to be able to win at home, and to give up, give up all the points in the first half and get buried, I thought was a bad loss for Elisha Stringer. So I'll go with Tennessee as their worst loss.
Yeah, Central Michigan best win. I'll go BC worst loss. They have one of the worst rush defenses in America. Not just the SEC. It is one of the worst I've seen this year.
South Carolina, I think, best win against East Carolina, barely able to win that one. That did stake them to 2-0. Worst loss to Kentucky at home. Kentucky's good, but only lose for South Carolina to lose 16-10 at home. I thought that was worst loss. Drew?
Well, I would say their best win was beating Vanderbilt, because if they had lost to Vanderbilt, it would have been horrific, 21-20. But and then their worst loss, I think, the Kentucky game. Kentucky tried to give them that game on a silver platter with all the turnovers, and they couldn't bust the door down. So I would say their worst loss for South Carolina was Kentucky. I agree with that.
I'm right there with you, Drew. Right there with your picks.
Tennessee best win. The win on the road at Mizzou in Columbia, the throttling 62-24. Worst loss, Pitt. Because they were up early in that game. They did lead at one point narrowly in the Ole Miss game, but they were up early in that Pitt game, and they let that get away from them. Drew?
Yeah, I would agree. I think their best win was Mizzou, because that's when you kind of saw things turning under Coach Heupel.
Yeah.
They were, many people thought they were underdogs. Then their worst loss, yes, Pitt. Because they missed a lot of opportunities, because Joe Milton started that game, and he missed some wide open receivers where if they make those plays early, they got off to a really fast start. They might have been able to beat Pitt, who's turned out to be a really good team in the ACC.
Yeah, that win against Mizzou sort of set the tone and sort of showed that they were getting up off the mat. So I'll give them that as their best win, and Pitt as well as worst loss.
A&M best win, I think it speaks for itself. It may be the best win out there in college football other than Oregon going into Columbus and beating Ohio State. Worst loss, if you're going to have a dream year, you can't lose at home to anyone, especially in a year you beat Alabama. So I give the Mississippi State loss.
Yeah, I would completely agree. Beating Alabama, Jimbo called his shot from the summer, so you got to give him credit for that. Zach Calzada had a Steven Garcia type night with 285 and 3 TDs and 2 and 3 touchdowns. And then, losing to Mississippi State at home was stunning to me. Not so much Arkansas, because that's been a really weird series, very close. But losing to Mississippi State, you can't have that.
Lock across the board. I agree with you guys completely.
And for Vanderbilt, they only have 2 wins. Take your pick. Either one of them pretty special. Probably on the road at Colorado Springs in all seriousness.
Oh, give me UConn because of the last-second nature of it. They needed
that's
it.
True. That's true.
They had to prove they were better than UConn, right?
Worst loss opening day to ETSU.
Oh, it's not even close. I'd say the Colorado State win for Vandy, and then, losing to East Tennessee the way they did. That was stunning, but I will say, just to close, this Vandy team is one of the worst I've ever seen in the history of the SEC.
Vintage.
Clark Lee has got a lot of work to do.
Vintage bad Vandy, and that's saying a mouthful.
Is there a worse loss out there than East Tennessee State
this
year?
No, not at all.
In college football,
I don't know.
General.
Tulsa to Cal Davis was pretty bad.
Yeah, but Cal Davis is at least
That's true.
Solid FCS program.
Yeah.
So,
but it was some bad. Drew, a lot of fun. Way to go. Thank you. We got in.
Appreciate it.
Got in under the break. I'm sorry I woke you up at nap time. Good luck to you Braves tonight. I'm pulling hard for you tonight. I'm serious. I think we all are kind of in cahoots with you on that one. So good luck to you Braves, and enjoy the college football weekend, the high school football weekend. Drew, you do a great job. Thank you, my friend.
Thanks, Drew.
Well, guys, it's been good, Gabe. It's great to be with you, and great to be with you, Brett, always. Appreciate the opportunity. Hope we can do this again soon. And you guys have a great rest of your week over there in Memphis.
No question.
You got it.
We'll do.
You got it.
When we come back, we transition. Big back-to-back here on this road trip. They will finish up the road trip. The Grizzlies will. Portland tonight, Golden State tomorrow. We'll talk about that and more when we come back on Sportstime.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian
Brian Elder, 867-0303. Hurricane season is upon us. Is your roof ready? Are your shingles laying down and sealed properly? Call me right now, 867-0303. They say you get what you pay for. That's why my opinion is free. Maybe you've got years of life left in your roof. If so, I'll tell you that. But if I find storm damage or a compromised roof system, I'll lay out some options for you. Don't let them tell you it needs to be replaced if it only needs a repair. Call me, 867-0303. Has your insurance company already seen it and rejected your claim? Maybe they're correct. Most of the time, they're not. They do tend to become more reasonable once I get involved, though. 867-0303. I'll measure your roof from outer space or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I know I say this every year, but fall is the best time for Central Barbecue.
You do say that every year.
But it's true.
You say that too.
I do not.
You say fall is the perfect time of year for Central Barbecue. Nothing goes better with baseball in the NBA than Central Barbecue. And then you get all defensive when I point it out.
I do not. I don't say those things every year. You don't know everything.
Oh, and you'll also point out the smell, the slow-cooked Memphis-style barbecue is the smell of autumn.
Well, it is.
I know it is. And I know you'll try to squeeze in one more mention of Central Barbecue.
Central Barbecue.
See?
You think you're so smart.
Hey, Mid-South. It's time to get your Mitsu on at Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike. Want great mileage at a great price? How about 43 MPG in your new 2021 Mitsubishi Mirage, $179 per month. Get more standard equipment than Ford Escape or Mazda CX-5 in your 2022 Eclipse Cross, $279 per month. Need My Pilot Assist? We Gossett in new 2022 Outlander at $319 a month. And get our stellar 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So hurry to Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Mirage Eclipse, 84 months at 3.9% APR. Mirage MH010713, MSRP 17055, 3100 down. Eclipse NZ09209, MSRP 26470, 5150 down. Outlander NZ023516, MSRP 29445, 84 months at 4.9, 4500 down. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/31/21. Dealer stock only.
Barks now offers you just about everything you need for your furry family member. Daycare, luxury boarding, award-winning grooming, veterinary checkups, diagnostic services including digital x-ray, fluoroscopy, and ultrasound, complete dental service, vaccinations, preventative care for fleas, ticks, and heartworms, and just about any needed surgical treatment. And did I mention that we treat cats and all types of exotic pets? We are the newest member of the Barks family and the newest, most high-tech veterinary hospital in the Mid-South. Located directly across the street from Barks and Recreation, we are a full-service hospital with a fantastic, experienced staff. If you're having problems getting a timely appointment at your current vet's facility, we are here to serve you. Call us at 901-979-8888. Barks and Medication. Excellence in veterinary care.
Working at Gateway Tire is not just a job, it's a profession. They're looking for career-minded people who want to advance their career in the auto industry. With 5-day work weeks, paid vacation, insurance, 401k plans, and much more, you'll enjoy their hometown approach to customer service. Come by and make Gateway Tire and Service Center the right step for your career.
At Gateway Tire, we go the distance for you.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Rolling right along. Sports Time on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats Brian Dacus producing the program. Continue to text the AutoZone listener line, 901-360-8255. You can also watch us live and message us. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, and at sports56whbq.com. I do have to apologize to my East Tennessee State folks because our great producer, Brian Dacus, had to remind me they are 14th right now in the FCS coaches poll. That's a good FCS program. But UC Davis, who we mentioned, who Tulsa lost to very closely, is 9th. They're a top 10 team. And also, I mean, ETSU beat Vanderbilt by 23-3.
But also lost to Chattanooga.
We got to find the worst loss of the year in college football. Connecticut could be way up there in the balloting.
Yeah.
But you didn't expect anything out of them.
No.
It's not an SEC team like Vanderbilt.
Yeah, I
air quotes here on the SEC team.
You know what? I want to hear this on 901-360-8255. If you can find a worse loss than Vanderbilt losing to ETSU, I don't know. We're going to have to give you a prize or something because that's there's no other loss that you could really compare to that, could you? I can't see it.
And smoked, like as Brian said.
Yeah, it wasn't even close.
And opening day and any kind of Clark Lee mania that quickly extinguished it. And I don't know if they're giving him a chance to win.
To be fair, Brett, was there really
the
Clark Lee mania? I don't know if mania is the right word for that, but
I mean,
he's there. I think
wherever two or more are gathered, that's mania at Vanderbilt.
Brian, you have a worse loss?
Washington versus Montana.
That's it.
Washington was ranked at the time, number 20.
Yeah, but Montana's a very representative FCS.
I think they're in the top 10 in the FCS standings, too.
Always. And Washington, how were they ranked coming into the year? Unbelievable.
Great question.
How did they let that happen? That just shows you preseason polls are a bunch of garbage.
I wish Vanderbilt would have allowed Derek Mason a chance, and now I wish they would give Clark Lee a chance. Give them a chance. You can. Put up more. I know you were burned badly by how it ended with James Franklin.
Mm-hmm.
I know at the administration level, at the higher echelon of alumni and relations, they think they may have finally sold their soul to win in big-time college football with James Franklin. Look what it did to them with the very, very ugly incident.
Yep. And
you still have to remember you're in the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
You've got you got burned. You got burned badly. But that doesn't mean to quit. And I think they have quit. And I don't think they ever gave Derek Mason a chance. And it doesn't look like they're starting out giving Clark Lee a chance. That's a shame.
And even when James Franklin was winning, you knew that they could not compete in regards to salary with other people because it's just they have never really put much into the football program. And it's unfortunate, but that's just sort of how it is. And they do have recruiting issues that they have to deal with as far as their school goes. And they hold up the rest of the SEC in regards to academics.
And I say all that with a softer spot for Vandy. I've had a blast. I've been up there when it's been competitive, when it's been fun, when it's been electric.
It seems like such a great spot for a football program, especially in the SEC, to thrive. They're in Nashville. So close.
Boomtown, USA now.
It seems like it should be able to thrive, but it never really has.
Gabe, I was at a Thursday night, maybe college football season opener. I think it was Vandy opener, 96 or so. Notre Dame in town, and Vandy carried them right down. Lou Holtz, coach of Notre Dame, and the Notre Dame fight song, all that good stuff. It was great atmosphere and packed. And that night, Vanderbilt scored on the scoring chart. It said 3 plays, 33 yards on a 50-yard touchdown pass. Yeah, that's right. That's new math. But they moved straight back in the plays before they finally set up the play.
What in the world?
Yeah. Touchdown pass, I think, went to Todd Yoder.
That makes my head hurt.
Check that box score, Brian.
Brian, if you can find that.
For my veracity,
that makes
3 plays, 33 yards on a 50-yard touchdown pass. I said, I told guys in the press box, I said, guys, we can do this now to the end of time and never see this play chart again.
Right. Now, speaking of box scores, the Grizzlies have been filling up box scores. They have been putting up a lot of points through their first 3 games, so much so that their offensive rating leads the league through 3 games, 121.3. But on the other side, Brett, and this is where you miss Dylan Brooks. He's been out with a hand fracture, sort of trying to recover. Defensive rating worst in the NBA, and the higher it is, the worse it is. 117.1.
Oh, they miss him, and for sure he's going to be back tonight. Portland 2.5-point favorite. I liked your idea about 310. Let's win them both.
Why not?
And win them both, And there are a lot of good, young, fresh stories, newer stories out there in the NBA for this year. But for the going in, if they won them both and got back Saturday night at FedEx Forum against Miami, through the first 10, 12 days of the new season, the Grizzlies would be one of the primary stories. And with
you already
again,
see John
certifiable,
Morant,
verified superstar.
And you see John Morant on NBA Today talking about his dunks and missed dunks of the past in his first 2 years in the league. So, I mean, this is unlike anything we've seen in Memphis in regards to the type of national notoriety that John Morant gets and the team gets because of
we've
John
never
Morant.
had transcendency, and we have it now. We have that guy, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, Gabe, we're going to be able to say in a few years or a long time, I hope 10, 12, 15 years, we got to see Ja Morant's NBA career right here in Memphis.
Now, here's where I sort of have some worry, and not a crazy amount of worry, just a little bit, is right now, Ja Morant, through the first 3 games, leading scorer in the NBA, has about 8 assists per game. His usage rate is very, very high. And I think he's done a good job of spreading the ball out. DeAnthony Melton has taken some of the onus off of him, so has Desmond Bane. But I think at some point they need Dillon Brooks back to be able to be a consistent creator in that starting lineup to take some of the onus off of Ja. Now, Ja has thrived in this situation, but I'm talking about an 82-game season. That's a lot of games, a lot of wear and tear on a guy with a relatively slight build. But he has been absolutely fantastic, and you can't take a single thing away from what he's done so far. But defensively, they're going to have to get something fixed, and I think that starts with Dillon Brooks getting back in the lineup as soon as they can. We still don't know. You don't get word one from the Grizzlies about how his recovery is coming along. How many months is he going to be out?
You're not going to
Weeks?
get word one.
Is he going to be out the whole year? You have no idea. I wouldn't imagine that. But you just do not hear anything.
I'll say it like I did with Drew Hill a few weeks ago. It's irritating from the information that we want to get out to the public. But I a little bit admire the Grizzlies because for a long time, the Grizzlies was a big old leak machine. It was a sieve. Everybody had 3 or 4 contacts in there telling you everything. I mean, you knew all the Grizzlies' business. All their business, good and bad, was played out in the public square. This group, I kind of applaud it. They've clamped down. It's 7th floor at Langley. They don't let anything out.
Yeah, some of them.
They don't let it out to their own media wing to Grind City.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. To be fair, though, with Dillon's injury, that we're talking about a hand injury. I don't with Jaren and how he's built.
Surgery. Come on now.
And how he's built and with a knee, with everything like that, you could be a little more closed-lipped because he had to go through a whole surgery because of his meniscus and you didn't know how he was going to recover, so on and so forth. This is a hand we're talking about. I don't think we're
talking hand.
I personally don't, and I know he shoots a lot and he gets off the dribble and he tries to create on offense. I get that. Having that hand working means a lot to his game, but I don't think that putting a timeline on when Dillon Brooks should or could be back is all that. I don't think it's that serious. I think you could.
Yeah, we're not talking back.
Yes. I'm talking back, ACL, meniscus, surgery type thing. Maybe he probably did have to get a surgery, but it's a hand. You can generally come back from that and feel
need them
pretty
both
nice.
though.
Yes, but after the Grizzlies-Lakers game, 121-18, of course, 118, the Lakers won. LeBron has been out the past 2 nights. Have you seen this? He has been out with his ankle injury.
And it freed up the court last night. Russell Westbrook, he really thrived, and now you're going to have the whole hot take TV. Do they really need both of them?
Oh, gosh. Of course. I mean, why not? They have all of them.
That was this morning, bright and early.
Of course.
I get in from walking, and that was on.
Let's be honest about the situation, though. Russell Westbrook plays a lot better without LeBron on the court so far. Small sample size. But he's got to learn.
Very
I mean,
small.
He's a high usage rate guy, and everybody knew that coming into this. He's going to have to learn.
One basketball.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. But
one basketball.
Russell Westbrook had to learn how to.
You know how many times we're going to say one
superstars.
basketball about the Tigers?
We need to have a sounder every time we say one basketball.
We really
about
should.
The Tigers. Bryant, we need to get you on that.
Almost the person that tells me that with the glee and the like I don't know is right up there with when somebody tells me, Brett, they don't call it the Hall of Good. I know what they call it.
And then Anthony Davis last night, you see him fall down and grab his knee. Everybody has to gasp to make sure that Anthony Davis is okay. He got back up.
He's tender.
Can I donate my knee and ankle or whatever joint that Anthony Davis needs, can I donate it to him?
See, when we do our top 75, he was the one that I thought, really, top 75 all time, Anthony Davis.
Gosh. Talent and production while he's on the floor? I mean,
we didn't have all those provisos. We just had a top 75 list.
Yeah. You didn't.
Now,
You didn't tell
if
me
you go
all
the
these.
fine print on me, I'll go there with you.
No, that's true. And there were some guys left
if
on.
you're going to make me read
left
the
off.
terms and conditions and not just click, nobody reads them. Nobody
Right.
reads terms and conditions.
Yeah, but Solomon Hill, Grizz Great, might have just changed the trajectory of the entire NBA by falling on LeBron's ankle, because that thing's still bothering him. And I don't know when he's going to be back to sort of full
We know
health
what fixes
comfort.
that kind of ankle. Time.
Yep.
It's not wrapping it. It's not.
I've
you know,
told
it's
you,
not
Brett.
the electrode stimulation.
Went down to
it's time.
Tampa. Went down to Tampa. Played in Raymond James on 2 high ankle sprains. I still feel them. I still feel them. If I do a big workout or run or walk or do anything on a treadmill, I start feeling those ankles every single time. And I don't know.
And I bet you flew down on the plane with all of them packed with the electrodes and all that good stuff.
Legs up if I could. I
Yeah.
mean, as much as I could. But, yeah, LeBron James
And,
is toward the end of his
every
career.
coach he ran into, Gabe, get off your feet. Get off your feet.
Yep.
Pre-game.
Yep. And I always found it funny.
Gotta walk.
I always found it funny when I was playing, the media members reporting that someone has a walking boot on. That just means they have an ankle sprain. You don't need to read it. It doesn't mean they have anything broken. They have a walking boot on.
Heck, I got a walking boot on right now. I mean, everybody's got a boot on.
Much. But when we come back, time to switch some gears. SEC lines for the weekend, we'll discuss those, and some NFL lines for this weekend. Thursday night football, because of all the COVID-19 craziness going on with the Packers, that line has moved a whole lot. We'll discuss that more when we come back on Sports Time.
Johnny Radio's Happy Hour has a new time, but with all the same shenanigans. For all you looking for something to make you smile, think, and laugh, look no further. We're drinking from 11 to 1 Monday through Friday. Same style, same great guests, just kicking off the day a little early. Enjoy your Happy Hour 11 to 1 on Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
There's nothing more frustrating than when your garage door breaks down. You're trying to get to work and it just won't open. What's the deal? Well, I'm not a garage door expert, but my friends at New Day Overhead Doors are. I was using New Day to fix my garage way before they came aboard with us. They are your one-stop shop for all your garage door and garage door opener maintenance needs. True professionals. And get this, New Day will beat their major competitors' price, oftentimes by half. That's half the price. 30 years experience. Honest, dependable, family-owned business. Don't ignore those strange noises your garage door may be making. It's New Day Overhead Doors for a simple repair or new garage door opener system. To schedule your appointment, call 901-351-5177. That's 901-351-5177. New Day Overhead Doors.
Tiger Nation, your 2021 NIT champion Memphis Tigers are back and ready to make a splash in the American Conference. Season tickets are on sale now. Don't miss a minute of the action with the #1 recruiting class and a brand new coaching staff with Hall of Famer Larry Brown and former NBA star Rasheed Wallace. To lock in your seats for all the action and excitement, call 901-678-2331 or visit GoTigersGoTix.com today.
Maureen saved big shopping epic daily deals at Amazon. So now she's free to become Maureen the Merrier. And with her brand new tableware, everyone's welcome at Maureen's table. All of her family, friends, even her neighbor with the pet. Hey, has anyone seen a ferret around here? Found it. Dig into Amazon's epic daily deals. Spend less, smile more.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Back in to wrap up hour number 2 on this Wednesday, Sports Time on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats. Bryant Dacus producing the program on the 1s and 2s. Now, got some SEC lines and some NFL lines to discuss. I have to start with this one. Ole Miss at Auburn this weekend. It'll be an ESPN game, 6 o'clock. It has grown. It looks like a lot of people are taking the side of Auburn. It has grown from 2.5 to 3 overnight.
Yeah, you see that. I'm not surprised. It's built really since the first line posted on Sunday night. I think a lot of that is the Ole Miss injury situation and Jordan Hare on the
very
road.
True, very true. And we got a text earlier in the week from one of our Ole Miss texters saying that he didn't believe the line was that way. But Ole Miss going into Auburn, this is their toughest. I mean, I would say they lost to Bama. That was their toughest game of the year. But going into Auburn, as far as a winnable game goes, this is certainly one that's going to be their resume builder. One of their resume builders down the stretch.
If Ole Miss wins this one, then all those crazy dreams can start. But if you don't, then it's going to be a lot of national voices and plenty local, and it'll be fair. Yeah. Once again, in that big one, Ole Miss didn't step up. Until you step up, people are going to say that about you.
Something that gives me even more confidence than I had in the Ole Miss offense before last week is the fact that Jerrion Ealy's back. I love how he runs the ball. He can catch the ball out of the backfield.
I love how he played last week.
He's so explosive.
Gabe, now, I think both teams. I think both teams' game plans should be simple: pound the ball.
Yep.
Auburn, when they get it, run.
Tank
Ole Miss, when they get it, run.
Has Tank Bigsby been dealing with a little bit of an injury? Because Jacquez Hunter, I still like. Great back. Mm-hmm. But Tank Bigsby's been dealing with some type of injuries.
But for both teams, it'd be a 1950s game for me.
Yep.
I don't know if I'd run the wing T. But
No. We don't need that. We don't need that. I don't want to offend
anybody. I don't think we need to run out there with no face mask on either.
There's too much talent on that field to run the wing T. That may be a hot take. I don't think it is though. You mentioned Ole Miss having the sweet dreams if they win this one. Kentucky beating Mississippi State. That's one of the hardest games on their schedule left. They're favored by 1 at Mississippi State.
This is a big game. I said this morning with Dave. I think it's kind of gotten lost on a short SEC weekend schedule. I mean, it's limited. It's very few games, and it really means a lot to the winner for Mississippi State. That's the rocket propulsion into November and to finish really strong and get the Memphis game, get the LSU game in the rearview mirror for them. And for Kentucky, it's the dream, the impossible dream.
Yes. And this is, besides, who do they have? Tennessee still on the schedule besides Mississippi State. That's their toughest game.
Oh, it's also
left.
doable.
It's so doable.
It's Tennessee. It's Vandy. It's New Mexico State.
Louisville.
That ain't murderer's row.
I'm telling you, based on the line and based on what I've seen from Mississippi State this year, do not even come close to counting out Mississippi State in this game. Don't come. That's a talented football team.
I don't think Stoops has ever defeated State.
Ever?
I don't think so.
Full over.
I think that's right.
Okay.
Somebody can correct me, please do. But that'd be a wild scene, 6 o'clock game down in Starkville, and will be fun. And now, how healthy is Will Rogers? I think the shoulder is very problematical for him.
Yeah, and we can sort of. I'm going to just tell the line, but Mizzou is a 16-point favorite over Vanderbilt on the road. Mizzou, that hiring of Steve Wilkes in the offseason as their defensive coordinator has been the worst decision that Eli Drinkwitz could have possibly made.
Former NFL head coach.
And he has been for people that have not watched Mizzou this year, I have not seen a worse rush defense. I really have not. They are porous, Swiss cheese. It is embarrassing to watch that Mizzou team.
So in SEC, you got Nick Saban, former head coach. You have Lane Kiffin, former NFL head coach. You have Marone and O'Brien on the Saban staff, former NFL head coaches, and you have Wilkes as a former NFL coach. Any other league have 5 former NFL head coaches coaching in it?
I doubt it.
I would, yeah.
I doubt it.
I know Chip Kelly at UCLA is a former, but
and also cocktail party, Georgia favored by 14. I think think a cover situation is very possible.
I feel Georgia route.
Yeah.
But I thought it last year.
That Florida team, the confidence is, I don't know if it's very high. And I know how much I talk about confidence. Probably sound like a broken record.
It's true, though.
It's very
especially
true.
At quarterback.
And
they haven't settled that.
Is this the week that you go to Anthony Richardson?
What are you waiting on?
This week would scare me with a young quarterback to throw him in there with Jordan Davis and Nakobe.
If you don't do it at the cocktail party, what are you waiting on, Sanford?
That's very, very
at
true.
Home?
Now, also with Thursday Night Football, we're going to get to a break here shortly. Packers at Cardinals, that line has moved so much. Devontae Adams, Allen Lazard, Aaron Rodgers' 2 top targets are going to be out. Well, at least Allen Lazard is officially out because he's unvaccinated. Devontae Adams could play, but it's very, very unlikely that he passes 2 PCR tests by then and gets on the field. So without his 2 top targets, Aaron Rodgers will be, and that has grown from, I believe, 1.5 to 6.5 Cardinals are favored by. We will get to more of those NFL lines as we get closer to the weekend. But when we come back on the other side, we're going to switch gears. We're going to get back to a little bit of World Series talk with Chris Gordy from the Astros Radio Network, and also may get to a little bit of the SEC in college football as he has a podcast locked on the SEC. We'll do that when we come back on Sportstime with Gabe and Stats.
Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Fall is in the air, and so are Choate's Early Bird Specials. Right now, receive $1,000 off the purchase of a new Carrier gas furnace. Carrier furnaces come with some of the best warranties in the industry, and Choate's has been professionally installing them for over 60 years. As a Carrier factory authorized dealer, Choate's also offers competitive financing solutions for you and your family. If your heating system is in good shape, make sure you take advantage of Choate's Early Bird Tune-Up Special for $60. This tune-up is an in-depth 20-point inspection to make sure your furnace is ready for the winter season ahead. So call 347-8086 to schedule your early bird special today. And turn to the experts with Choate's and let our family serve your family.
Get your gun, Nelly, and saddle up Penelope. It's Western Trading Days at Sunrise Buick GMC. Old-time trading prices on all new Buicks and GMCs, and the Sunrise Used Car Corral has over 150 in stock. Sunrise has rustled up a good-looking herd of cars and trucks under $99.95. Ranch managers have been told to cut prices to the bone. If you're a good person with bad credit, SunriseMemphis.com will help put your brand on one of these fillies. Come on in and save some money during Western Trading Days at Sunrise, Covington Pike, Wolf Chase, and Collierville. Cars cost less at Sunrise, partner.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. As we all know, Memphis can be a hotbed for severe weather, and that weather can play havoc on our roofs. Most people don't know what they should do first when they're concerned about the condition of their roof. Call their insurance company, call a contractor, or trust a door-to-door salesman that's making claims that are hard to believe. My advice would be call the contractor that you know and trust. If you don't know any, research your local contractors and give 2 or 3 a call. I hope your research will lead you to us. Have your roof inspected, decide for yourself what you should do, and whether or not you should file a claim with your insurance company. It's your home, it's your policy, and it's your money. Don't let anyone pressure you into anything. If you give Five Ash Roofing a call, we promise personal service with a member of our family with no pressure and no hype. Five Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
It's finally fall, and that means it's time for the baseball playoffs and the beginning of the Grizzlies season. And there's no better place to enjoy those games than at Sweetgrass Next Door in the heart of Cooper Young. Along with a longtime favorite menu items like shrimp and grits and the beef carpaccio, there are lots of new menu items created by real chefs for you to enjoy. And you'll really enjoy the Tall Boys 6-packs for just $15. If you love baseball and the Grizzlies and great food and great drink prices, you can't beat Sweetgrass Next Door, Memphis's great neighborhood bar in the heart of Cooper Young.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli, with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
We will go to Houston, where they're getting set for Game 2 of the World Series. Last night, the Braves with the big win in Game 1. We visit with Chris Gordy, who's part of the Astros Radio Network pre- and post-game, and also hosts Locked on the SEC. We visit with Chris after I tell you about FanDuel. The NFL season, it's approaching the halfway point. Can you believe that? Still a lot of time to have a lot of fun with FanDuel. And at FanDuel Sportsbook, they have a little something different to offer for this Sunday night matchup between Dallas and Minnesota, because FanDuel is giving new customers 25-1 odds on any touchdown scored in the game. Any touchdown. That means you can end the NFL Sunday night the right way by winning $125 on a $5 bet. Let's don't overthink this. Let's just go with Dak Prescott or go with Ezekiel Elliott. Let's keep it really simple and cash in that money. It's the number 1 rated sportsbook app in America for a reason. Easy to use, safe and secure, fast payouts, now accepting Venmo. FanDuel is sports betting made simple, and they're always hooking you up with great offers. Plus, when you win, you'll get paid in as little as 2 hours. 2 hours, that money will be in your account. It's your money. You've won it. See for yourself why FanDuel is America's number 1 sportsbook. Sign up with promo code CASH this week before the Sunday night matchup, and you can win $125 on a $5 bet. Remember to use promo code CASH so they know I sent you, exclusively on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. New users only. $10 first deposit required. Must wager in designated offer market. Max bonus $125. Bonus for Tennessee users fulfilled in site credit within 72 hours. Tennessee site credit expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. This hour of our show brought to you every day by our title sponsor. That's DeSoto Auto Sales. They're at 5704 Goodman Road. Online at DeSotoAutoSales.com. Very, very proud to serve DeSoto County and the entire surrounding area. All the cars at DeSoto Auto Sales, test-driven, checked out thoroughly, bumper to bumper, unlimited inventory, every make, every model. If it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. No shortcuts taken at DeSoto Auto Sales. You walk in, you're treated like family, you're treated like kind. You're treated very well by kind, courteous employees, laid-back atmosphere, no high-pressure sales. But they do care about your time, and they want you to enjoy the ultimate car experience. They know we live in a world today that time matters. That's why you find the car you want, test drive it, credit approved, paperwork completed, you're gone in 45 minutes or less. It's a guarantee at DeSoto Auto Sales at 5704 Goodman Road, 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales. We head down to Houston, where Game 2 is getting ready to start, and he has carved some time for us. And Chris Gordy, we appreciate it. I know you're busy. When I texted you, is it possible for you to carve some time for us? So you jumped right in, said sure thing. Thank you so much, Chris, and congratulations. I know it's fun. I said yesterday, Chris, and I meant it. 3 things that are magical to me in sports: to hear the name, the World Series, the Rose Bowl, and the Masters, and you're there for it.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's
looks like you there, Chris?
Don't take this for granted, guys. When you get to see 3 World Series in a 5-year span,
I mean, it's pretty surreal to see exactly what the Astros have done. And granted, look, the 2017 season, it is what it is. It'll always have the asterisk next to it that a lot of people think. But yeah, I just think when you look at what they've done here, 3 in 5 years is certainly historical.
Yeah, you can say what you want about the cheating scandal and everything else and them not getting punished, the players, but it's very clear that their lineup is what it is, and the talent was there from the beginning.
Yeah, and the more I start to talk to people, not just the Astros players, but people around the league, it's crazy to hear more and more details about what happened. In fact, there are guys I talk to around the league who tell me that other teams were doing this exact same thing or something similar. And so when you start to hear that, you do realize MLB did kind of scapegoat the Astros. They pinned them as only the bad guys and tried to put this behind them very quickly. But unfortunately, the Astros are still having to wear it. And the weird thing is there's only four or five guys left from that 2017 team still on this team. I laugh when they go to opposing stadiums and people like Yordan Alvarez and Michael Brantley are getting booed, and it's like those guys weren't even around in 2017. So it is what it is, but the only thing they can do to improve their image is go try to win a World Series this year where they know there's nothing happening nefarious.
Chris, you're so right about the scapegoating, and so often in sports we have to have that sacrificial lamb. And look, I think he should have been sacrificed. He should have been fired. What happened to him, the humiliation should have occurred. But the whole John Gruden, Washington football, you do a lot of stuff with the Texans, so I know you're up on this. The whole Washington football team stuff. But then the NFL, they clamped down. Nothing left to be released. We've kind of got our guy. We've thrown John Gruden overboard. But yet we got every single document over flipping deflated footballs.
Exactly. And what's crazy is, and Astros fans kind of live on this, the Yankees and the Red Sox were both caught that same season using Apple Watches trying to relay signals in real time. Now, they got a slap on the wrist from the commissioner, but about a year later, there was a letter that came out from further findings, and that's been sealed. And the commissioner, Rob Manfred, will not open the letter. There was a date where he was supposed to open it, and they've not revealed the contents of that data. And so what's so funny is Astros fans just say, yeah, let us keep being the bad guy while Rob Manfred covers up, because what I think they would have found is what you found with the steroid scandal, that this was rampant. This was going on around baseball. You're telling me you set up cameras on home plate, on catchers, and you didn't think teams would try to use that to their advantage in a league, in a sport where everyone's looking for the best advantage? So
everybody cheats.
Yeah, it's crazy. It is what it is. Look, the guys know, they admitted they did wrong. Part of the deal was in admitting, everything to the league office was that MLBPA, they said, we're going to protect our players, and they'll tell you the full honest truth if you don't suspend them. And so it's so ridiculous when they go to these stadiums all year and fans are booing and saying, you should have been punished, you should have been suspended. Well, dummies, that was part of the deal. In order for them to confess everything, suspension. So that's why you have a players union. So anyway, it's one of those things that just kind of bugs me. And fans around there, cheating Astros. I was in Boston last week, and I heard a Boston kid telling another kid, yeah, the Astros, they're cheaters. And it's like, come on, man. Like, you're teaching a whole new generation about this.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's ever going to forget. I think that's something we absolutely have to accept. But at some point, you just have to sort of let it leave your mind to a certain extent as we get farther and farther away from it. And obviously, I think the COVID year, more than anything, accentuated it because you didn't have fans in the stands and they weren't able to see them until 2021. So it's just one of those things. Now, as far as on the field goes, after watching Framber Valdez last night, he struggled mightily after having his eight innings against the Red Sox and the CS. How do you feel about the Astros and their pitching? How do you think it'll hold up as this series wears on?
Well, it's their biggest weakness. I mean, when you talk about a team that, last season, after one start, they lose Justin Verlander to Tommy John. And, Verlander, to his detriment, he waited all season long last year to wait to have the Tommy John. He wanted a second opinion, a third opinion, a fourth opinion. Yeah. Finally got it. And by the time he got it, well, you missed this whole season too. And so, they should have Justin Verlander out there right now. They should have their other ace in Lance McCullers out there. He tweaks himself in the last series, and so he's out. And so you're talking about two big dogs that you don't have at the front end of this rotation. Framber Valdez is a guy who's kind of been their ace for the past, last year, kind of established himself as a big-time pitcher. But, man, he has games where he just doesn't have it, and that happened last night. So now they're going to turn to Jose Urquidy, who is the guy who's pitched well. He's more your 3 or your 4, not your number 2. Luis Garcia is their number 2. They're saving him for game number 3, which I thought was an odd decision by Dusty Baker. So, yeah, I keep saying, guys, this is a must-win tonight. I know mathematically it's not. I know a lot of the math nerds like to jump in and say, oh, no, this isn't a must-win. You know, you could bring up 2019 where they played the Nationals. They lost the first 2 at home, went up to D.C., and ended up winning all 3 in D.C. And as we know, the road team won every game in that series. I just wouldn't bank on that happening because this Braves team is so good. They're so talented, a loaded roster. I would just say tonight is a must-win for the Astros if they're going to have any chance of winning the World Series.
Chris Gordy, our guest from down in Houston. He handles pre and post on the Astros network. He also covers the SEC with Locked On the SEC. But let's keep it on baseball for this little bit, Chris, and go with that. I think it's very crucial to must win tonight. The Braves did get up 2-0 in 1996, and then they went all that stretch between 96 and last night without World Series wins. But if they take it back to Atlanta, and Atlanta's going to be hopping because one thing the Braves fans and the Astros fans, and I think all of us baseball fans have in common, is an absolute contempt for the commissioner.
That's what's so funny about it is I was able to catch up with Rob Manfred last night. He was kind of avoiding the media, and I saw about 20 baseball writers following him around and said, all right, I'm going to hitch my wagon to them and follow wherever he goes. And finally, he gave in and talked with the media, and, man, he got peppered with questions. There's talk of maybe a work stoppage after this season and new labor agreements. And, then he was asked about, hey, what do you think about the Astros and the cheating scandal? And, hey, what do you think about pulling the All-Star game from Atlanta? I mean, it was just one thing after another. You could see Rob Manfred wanted to be anywhere but in front of media answering questions last night. So you're right. He was walking around Houston last night getting booed, and I know when he goes to Atlanta, he's going to get booed there. So that's one thing both fan bases can agree on.
I saw your I was scrolling through your Twitter, and I saw the answer he gave on the Astros cheating scandal. My God, I've seen him in some uncomfortable situations. That might be the most uncomfortable I've seen him in front of media, and he puts himself in a lot of those bad situations, though.
Yeah, and I think look, all the commissioners of all the leagues are kind of pinned to be the bad guys. I think Adam Silver's done a pretty good job with the NBA. We all know about Goodell. His name comes up every couple of weeks or something.
And yesterday his name came up because of after the owners' meetings, his conversations. I mean,
yeah,
gosh.
Exactly. But I think Manfred, Bud Selig, he did a lot of good. He did a lot of bad. I think it all balanced out in the end. But I think Rob Manfred has just kind of taken a black eye from every topic since he's taken over Major League Baseball, maybe in a little bit over his head. But,
right.
Yeah, you can count on some big boos for him this weekend in Atlanta.
So Dusty Baker, when he was brought in, I know it was sort of a stabilizing hire after A.J. Hinch was sort of kicked out. But what do you think about the job he's done? How important has he been to this franchise in stabilizing it?
He's been really important. We were talking about this the other day. When you go back to the aftermath of the cheating scandal and when owner Jim Crane decided to fire A.J. Hinch, it would have been easy to just bring in an interim and say, look, A.J.'s going to serve a suspension. He'll come back as manager. Jim Crane really took a big step at firing the GM Jeff Luhnow and the manager A.J. Hinch. And, take a shot at Boston here. Alex Cora, they let him sit out of here and they bring him right back, hunky-dory, even though he was the mastermind behind the cheating scandal.
Exactly.
But I digress. But no, Dusty Baker was one of the names that came up as a possibility that they could hire. And everywhere you go, when you say the name Dusty Baker, nobody has anything bad to say about Dusty. He's just a guy who's easy to root for. He's a laid-back, kind of old-school guy who's been around, seen it all, done it all. And so, I say that to say they could have put anybody in charge of this Astros team, and I think would have had on-field success.
Right.
But they really needed somebody to be the face to bring some positivity to that Astros after the scandal. And Dusty has been all that and then some. And so that's why I laugh when I kind of read some columns and stuff, and people say, "Look, hate the Astros all you want, but if they win it all, you can't help but be happy for Dusty Baker because this guy could win a World Series." And walk off into the sunset. Now, I have a real question if he's going to do that because I think he's about 20 or so wins away from getting into the top 10 all-time wins list. So I think there's a chance he may come back for another year. But, man, if they win it all, it would be really hard to see him not wanting to go retire. He's in his 70s already. Go sit on a beach. He was already retired away from baseball. They had to pull him out of retirement. So, but, man, all the great stories he has, from Hank Aaron to all kinds of legendary stories of
Tommy
baseball
Lasorda.
guys. And, yeah, all these legends that he has been around. I think a lot of people are rooting for Dusty to get that World Series finally.
Yeah, Chris, I think next year, just with a modest beginning, April and May, he goes over 2K in managerial wins. And I said it earlier this fall, in the playoff season, that walks him right into Cooperstown. I know there's nothing like the first time in the Astros getting that a few years ago, but this would be a lot of vindication, a lot of up years to a lot of people, and with Dusty getting his. Would this one be more special?
It would be. It would be more special, obviously, with Dusty to get his. But from the flip side, like I said, with the pitching injuries, like you think back, the Astros in 2019 when they got to the World Series, they had Justin Verlander, Garrett Cole, and Zach Greinke as their 1-2-3. Mm-hmm. Right now, their 1-2-3 is Framber Valdez, Luis Garcia, and Jose Urquidy. I mean, that right there would be very impressive for them to be able to pull it off with the limited pitching staff that they've had so far in this postseason. That's what would make it so impressive. And I think this lineup is even more potent now. Yordan Alvarez, their DH, is just a superstar in the making. I'm sure he's going to win an MVP before it's all said and done at some point. But yeah, the 17-year was special. Obviously, it's got the asterisk after it, but I think this one would be special just from a standpoint of, man, if you could win a World Series without that starting rotation, because you talk about every offseason, how many teams go spend and overspend in free agency on frontline pitching. The Astros could prove all that wrong and say you really don't need those frontline arms to win it.
Right, and without pitching, though, how do they do it? Is it as easy as saying get Jose Altuve hitting and Alex Bregman hitting again?
Yeah, those two guys are a big part of it. And Altuve has not been very good this series. Not been very good in the postseason. He's hit a couple of home runs. One of them, a big one in Boston a week ago. But yeah, those two guys have got to get going. And if they're going to win, they're going to win some score fest. I mean, almost like they did in Boston, where they had the big innings. The 6-run inning, the 9-run inning. That's kind of what they're going to need to have the rest of this way. And maybe win some games 10-6 or 9-5.
Chris, obviously, you host the Locked On SEC podcast as well. Brett was absolutely telling me that. We've had a lot of conversations around the SEC today and in this entire week. Who do you think at LSU, Ed O is going to be out after the season, who do you think the guy is that they should turn that program over to?
Mr. Perfect.
Man, it's really, like, I know this. The athletic director, Scott Woodward, goes big game hunting, right? I mean, everywhere he's been. When he was at Washington, they said, you'll never get Chris Peterson from Boise State. He got him. When he was at Texas A&M, they said, you'll never get Jimbo Fisher from Florida State. He got him. Since he's been at LSU, they said, you'll never get Kim Mulkey to leave Baylor. Why would she leave Baylor? She did. So everywhere he's gone for the big names, shot to the stars. From some of the early names we've heard, Mike Tomlin from the Steelers, James Franklin at Penn State, Dabo Swinney, he may get turned down by all those guys, but they're going to at least ask. Right. So that's what will be interesting. And right now, I think their safest bet is Lane Kiffin. There's mutual interest on both sides. We've heard from Lane's camp that he would be very interested in the LSU job. Right. We know that LSU would be interested in him. My biggest problem with Lane is we know he's matured. Has he fully matured? Is he ready to put everything behind him from the past? Even against Alabama, right before kickoff, hey, get your popcorn ready, and then he goes out and gets curb stomped. Those are the little things that make you nervous about Lane Kiffin, being all over social media and all that kind of stuff. And then the other side of it is, if I'm going to hire Lane Kiffin, I need to get a guarantee that he's bringing in a seasoned defensive coordinator, because those defenses that he's had at Ole Miss so far, this year's been a little bit better, obviously, but last year, that was embarrassing, the defense they had last year. So if that's truly your guy, I gotta kind of have to have those other reassurances, because the bottom line is, look, he's doing a nice job at Ole Miss. Will he ever win a championship at Ole Miss? I think that's a question that not many people can ask. Will he win one at LSU? Well, the last three guys have done it there, so the odds are whoever the next guy is going to have a chance to win one.
This conversation comes up all the time with Lane Kiffin about the maturity, and I think Brett could probably speak to this better than anybody talking right this second, but I feel like what he's done since the Raiders and Tennessee and everything else, he's embraced the fact of who he's
Bama
embraced.
and Florida Atlantic.
He has embraced who he is. You know, he doesn't necessarily hide it. It seems like now he's at that sort of genuine spot where, yes, he may act a little different. He may go on social media. He may say some things here and there, like in the Alabama game. But he owns it after the fact. I think after the fact with the Get Your Popcorn Ready, they beat Arkansas, and he said, finally, I can eat my popcorn. Right? Yeah. So he sort of makes fun of himself, and he's become more genuine as he's gotten older.
I don't know that LSU wants to go too corporate. I think his wilder side is more their appetite. And Chris, you know, LSU's got they got an appetite for spicy food.
They do, and it is a good point you bring up. He obviously is way more mature than he once was, but I just wonder, you know, some of the reasons why they fired Ed Ogeron. It wasn't just on the field; it was off the field, and it was things like, you know, pictures of him in bed with younger women and all these little things.
His
that came
girlfriends
out that,
coming out to practice and hanging out.
Yeah, little things that they were embarrassed by, the boosters and the big money people. And so, you know, is there something in the back of your mind that says, it's going to stop Lane from, you know, making a fishing hole comment at a coach's show or something like that? You know, things that they were embarrassed with Coach O. I just wonder, you know, is it the easier path to go with Dave Aranda from Baylor?
Right.
At LSU, who has never said a controversial thing in his life. He's tight-lipped. He barely talks. So, you know, is that the safer pick? I don't know. We'll see. But
we do have to think about the fact that they are, yes, coming off Ed O, not just Ed O, but Les Miles as well. We're talking about last two head coaches.
And it's Louisiana. I mean, you got the tradition of the politics with Edwin Edwards and the Longs. I mean, they got a strong appetite for a lot of things that could repulse other people.
Well, I know this, guys. All the antics and all that, it's all cute while you're winning. And it's all the worst thing in the world when you're losing. Les Miles eating grass while they're winning championships. Let's go, Les. Let's all eat grass together. But when you start losing, man, look at this moron eating grass off the field. Let's get him out of here.
So true.
That is
so true, Chris. I mean, that can turn on you in a second. Chris Gordy, great to catch up with you. We may do it again during the World Series. We for sure will before the football season's over. Knock 'em dead tonight. I know you got a lot to do, and we'll follow it on Twitter, and we appreciate you joining us. Thank you, Chris.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely, guys. Anytime.
Great stuff. And I mean, one of the busiest humans alive today to carve us some time. We sure appreciate it. Look, it's getting close to the dinner hour, drop in temperatures. You're thinking about maybe something warm for you, some comfort food, some good soup. Think about Jason's Deli. They've got the great soups. I love the fire roasted tortilla, the chili, the beanless chili, the Texas style chili, the organic vegetable soup, the tomato basil, the broccoli cheese, bowls, cups. They've got it all. And you'll love it at Jason's Deli. All these locations: Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova. There's one very, very close to you. Online all the time at jasonsdeli.com. They like to say it is bringing more to the table. It's a family thing, and they do that at Jason's Deli, whether it's 5 or 5,000, just dinner time or a big catering event. We're getting ready to get into bigger catering season, we hope, with more traditional, normal, pre-pandemic Christmas parties, Christmas events, holiday season events, Thanksgiving as well. No order too large at Jason's Deli. They'll make your event special. And in all the locations like Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova, wrap it up with the complimentary ice cream, all the salads, all the soups, all the breads, all the spreads, all that great food at Jason's Deli. Healthy, first franchise in the nation to be trans fat free. Great salad bar, over 30 items just on the salad bar to choose from, and now you can prepare it any way you like it. Again, the locations: Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova. Check them out online as well at jasonsdeli.com.
When we come back, we discuss what's trending, and I'll tell you what's trending. It's the NFL. Roger Goodell yesterday fielded a whole bunch of questions from the press after the owners' meetings, their annual owners' meetings, and there's a whole lot to break down. Deshaun Watson details, Dan Snyder details, Washington football team details, 650,000 emails, details on that. We will discuss that when we return right here on Sportstime with Gabe and Stats.
You have opinions?
The knowledge that I have matters.
We want to hear them. Call or text us on the AutoZone listener line at 360-8255. That's the AutoZone listener line at 901-360-8255.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Barks now offers you just about everything you need for your furry family member. Daycare, luxury boarding, award-winning grooming, veterinary checkups, diagnostic services including digital x-ray, fluoroscopy and ultrasound, complete dental service, vaccinations, preventative care for fleas, ticks, and heartworms, and just about any needed surgical treatment. And did I mention that we treat cats and all types of exotic pets? We are the newest member of the Barks family and the newest, most high-tech veterinary hospital in the Mid-South. Located directly across the street from Barks and Recreation, we are a full-service hospital with a fantastic, experienced staff. If you're having problems getting a timely appointment at your current vet's facility, we are here to serve you. Call us at 901-979-8888. Barks and Medication. Excellence in veterinary care.
I got him on the line, Jeff Allen, the king of Happy at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah.
Hey folks, need a new ride that gets 41 MPG? 2021 Kia Forte, $249 a month. 2021 Kia Rio S hatchback, 41 MPG, only $258 a month. Plus a 2022 turbocharged Kia Soul, ready for that road trip at $267 a month.
Plus, you'll always get Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty program. Remember, Forte $249, Rio $258, Soul $267. And don't sell your trade till you check with us.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah, 2680 Mount Moriah, or KiaMountMoriah.com.
All 72 months at 2.9%, $29.99 down payment. Forte, NE 409-215, MSRP 19,335. Rio, ME 427,894, MSRP 19,755. Sold in 7808-276, MSRP 20,615. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695. Must finance through Kia on low APR. Excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/31/21. Dealer stock only.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. I'm a speed bump. Did you hear what I said? I'm a speed bump. And if you have cut-rate car insurance, the cost to reattach your muffler could really be a bump in the road. So switch to Allstate, save money, and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Based on coverage and limits selected, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Bar and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Almost home on a Wednesday on Sports Time on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats. Brian Dake is producing the program. If you have anything that we have talked about today that you want to talk to us about, hit the listener line, 901-360-8255. Also, watch us live and message us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, and at sports56whbq.com. Now, yesterday, it was the annual owners' meetings for the NFL. Roger Goodell was on hand, and he had to field a lot of questions from the press yesterday. And a lot of it had to do with Deshaun Watson, the 650,000 emails that were confiscated from the Washington football team. But on that, obviously last week, you have two representatives that are trying to get the NFL to turn over documents relating to the Washington football investigation by November 4th. When asked about the emails and if they're going to be released, he said that he will not release them because some of those who came forward have requested anonymity. Now, in a lot of situations, yes, they probably do want to be anonymous, But Brett, my question: can't we go John Doe, Jane Doe?
We can get a black Sharpie out and redact it. It's done every day. Like I said to Chris earlier, to Chris Gordy, it's just amazing what the hypocritical high road the NFL that Goodell can take when we got every decimal point of the air in the deflated footballs and taken out, and we got every movement in that room where those footballs were kept, and they sent the greatest player in the history of the NFL through all that scrutiny and sullied his good name, Tom Brady, with that. Yep. And now we can't get anything released from this, and this is real wrongdoing.
And
Congress is going to go for it, though.
Oh, yeah, Congress. You have representatives, like I said, trying to get them to turn over those documents, and as well they should. It should not be even. It should be quickly turned over and understood.
And
because
I normally don't like Congress in the sports realm, but when you don't police yourself any better than this, then maybe
when you're that powerful,
our duty should.
When you're that powerful of an entity and you're sort of giving it the above the law treatment, we don't have to tell you what we did. We don't have to tell you what we did. Then the law absolutely has to step in. And then
now, my normal vein of thinking, though, on stuff like that, until infant mortality is zero, until our debt is zero, until our deficit is, until our books are squared, and until every teacher's gotten a raise in the country, I don't really want government involved in sports. But in this case, when the NFL stiff arms like you like this, okay, we're going to show up with subpoenas.
And it's very clear at this point they're hiding something massive, Brett. There's no way they would go through all of this.
A lot of people.
There's no way they would go through all of this trouble if there was nothing in these emails.
Gruden wasn't alone with that tone.
And Mark Davis, I don't know if you've sort of heard some of the rumors about how he feels about it, and they both think Gruden and Mark Davis said the truth will come out one way or another. And I think the public pressure is there. That's the one thing I was worried about. Is the public going to put enough pressure on the NFL to actually release it? And I think they're putting a lot on them.
I don't think we will, Gabe. Here's why. Just give us our fantasy football. Give us our hits,
we
runs,
forget
and errors.
Quickly. That's
Shut
true.
up and dribble. We do.
But I think so far, I don't know if the pressure has let up like I thought it would. So far. Now, I think here 3 weeks down the road, a month down the road, I don't know how we'll feel.
Here's what's in play. What if it ensnared 10 owners and 10 had to have the Donald Sterling treatment, that the league had to take them back, not receivership, but kind of take them and then put them on the open market? The league would make a pile of money from that.
Oh my gosh, but that would be just black mark on everything.
If you had one, I mean, even if it was Snyder and Davis thrown overboard, but what if on that chain is a lot of owners kind of in that same playground of conversation, that same area, and you had to take back several teams?
It would be a disaster. It really would be.
And what if it got some of the luminaries? What if it got to the Maras and the Tishes and the Rooneys and the McCaskies and the Hallises and the Fords and the Hunts?
Black marks on franchises forever.
And the Jones. I said what if. I said if. I'm not accusing anything. I said if.
Did you hear what Goodell had to say about Dan Snyder, though? This was the worst quote of the day by far, not even close. He said, in response to a question, has Dan Snyder been held accountable? He says, I do believe he's been held accountable. $10 million and having him step away from the team is enough? He still has all the money. He still owns the team. He didn't have to hand anything over.
He paid no price.
Money goes, $10 million is nothing to him. That is sock money. And that is insulting. I think that's insulting the intelligence of the media and fans to say, I think he's been properly held accountable.
Snyder has made that much money since we've been on the air today.
Right. And I just to even act as if $10 million is enough.
There's been no price paid.
That makes me so angry with Roger Goodell. And
there's been no price paid. And I tell you one owner, it feels like, but they better bow up to take him on, because we know how much money he he's worth and the family he's associated with. But you got Stan Kroenke on two fronts, potentially two fronts. You got him with the suit in St. Louis that's not very flattering. And, again, what if he showed up at the same time with kind of the same tenor in some of these emails, and you had to force him out, and he went out guns blazing? I've said it since he did it. When you'll do that to your hometown, you'll turn on anybody.
And Kroenke, I don't know if you've seen it in the past 3 hours, he has angered the rest of the NFL owners by backing away from a sort of promise to cover the millions of dollars in the legal expenses because of the departure from St. Louis. So he's angering everybody. And
if you do that to your hometown, you'll stiff those owners on a legal tab.
Has there been anybody that's ever been really happy with Stan Kroenke? Stan Kroenke really is.
Well,
he has become
one of the heiresses to the Walton fortune. Seems pretty happy.
Yeah, but as far as
his
the
son
money,
that runs the basketball team,
he really
played basketball at Mizzou. Was that Josh? Doesn't he run the Nuggets?
I believe so. Yes, but all of the franchises he owns generally struggle and don't do well. The Rams are an exception. They've done pretty well, but Arsenal has done awfully since he's taken over. I don't know if, as far as from fans and a media perspective, I don't think anyone likes the guy because he just seems like a very, very selfish guy and pretty ghoulish at times and just does not care about the little guy.
He's used to getting his way.
Yeah, and that's a lot of his types. I mean, that's a lot of ownership type guys, and
especially in that league. I don't know if you've ever seen this, but it was a great story. I don't know if I saw it on TV or I read about it, but a few years ago, the NFL in the NFL offices, they keep it's a small group that works on the potential for new owners because there's not very many people out there that can do that can play in that league, and they keep them over kind of on ice. So if a team comes open legitimately, just got to sell for whatever reason.
Bezos?
Well, he'd have to be in the club, wouldn't he?
Oh no, he's there. How many times have we heard about that too with the Washington football team in particular? That's the one that they've been highlighting, but it doesn't look like Dan Snyder's going anywhere anytime soon.
Elon Musk and Bezos combined could buy the whole league.
They could.
They could buy everything.
They could. They absolutely. Well, Bezos, I don't know. I mean, what's he up to now as far as billions? I mean, he could probably get close himself.
150?
He could get close himself. I mean, these guys are tremendous. I mean, they're going up to space right now with their free time. They have nothing better to do.
I think I saw yesterday where Elon Musk is now. Is it 250? And that's in billion?
With a B?
I mean,
that's
incomprehensible.
That's a tremendous portion of our.
That means you could lose $249 billion and still have $900 million.
And the amount of power that comes with that amount of money is kind of frightening at times. It really is. And the fact that it's and for them, the ticker ain't going down ever. Oh, they are only making money. They're never losing money. At this point, they're too big and
what
too
if it
powerful.
was a PR disaster that could turn the public? Would it? I don't know if it could. It be one. It wasn't head and neck and injury and concussion. It wasn't. I mean one thing that I kept coming back to on that, Gabe, and I sure say it respectfully with you that put in the time and the trouble and the toil and the blood and the sweat and the tears and the surgeries, but nobody ever makes them play. You don't have to play.
Yeah. I mean, the pressure's there, though. I'll tell you that. You don't have to.
Because there's very few things, and there's almost nothing in the rest of society that you can make that kind of money.
If we want to get deep into it, it really is just football and the attitude that's been instilled in a lot of players growing up. You don't quit. You put yourself out there no matter what.
There's nothing wrong.
And yes, I think that some of the onus needs to be put on the players not playing and trying to keep their heads safe and not playing with injuries. But I think a lot of it has to do with what football is and has been forever. And that's sort of the manly game where you show no pain, no mercy, the whole 9 yards. So
Ronnie Lott having the tip of the finger
exactly. Cut it off so I could go play again.
Cut it off.
it's one of those things where it's just the mindset that's instilled in you at a young age, even playing.
And I feel like I need 10 weeks at Betty Ford just hearing the cut it off story.
That's gross. That is disgusting. I'll tell you, I'd never do that. I'll tell you, if I had,
I want to leave as much as I arrived with.
The most I ever did is the ankle sprain. I can play on it. I had a buddy play on a torn MCL, but this one is the most painful thing I've ever heard, Brett. And I know there's probably worse out there playing on torn ACLs and everything. A torn plantar fascia, playing O-line, stomping around, playing O-line, trying to move 300-pound men with a torn plantar fascia.
How shot up would you have to be, Gabe?
Oh, I don't know.
To put on a shoe.
I don't know if there's enough shots that could keep you conscious
to
where you wouldn't feel that on a football field. There's not enough shots that would keep you conscious.
Okay, at 22, but, man, at 42, you're going to pay a price.
You're going to regret
it.
You're going to regret it. 100%. But that's football for you. That really is football. Now, also yesterday, we had a comment on Deshaun Watson. The press asked Roger Goodell why he's not on the exempt list, and he says that the league is not at a point to put Deshaun Watson on the exempt list. They said they do not have enough information from law enforcement, which, if I'm putting 2 and 2 together, Brett, he can play. He is able. He is not.
Carolina passing
unable.
Today scared me.
Well, Carolina's saying this year it's out of the question. Obviously, the trade deadline November 2nd.
It's going to have to be adjudicated, and that's going to take that's going to take time.
It's 20 cases, and I understand they're not criminal at this point. Some could become criminal before long. You never know. But they've put other guys on the exempt list for much less, right? I mean, Zeke Elliott, that whole thing. There was texts back and forth of this woman saying that he sexually assaulted her, and it turned out to be either figured out or a lie altogether. And he was on the exempt list for, I think, 3 games. But Ben Roethlisberger had his time on the exempt list.
But what always saves the NFL? Tomorrow night, Packers and Cardinals.
Exactly.
I mean,
every single time.
And we're going to love it.
Right there on national television. Yep. And it distracts everybody. But this is just Roger Goodell has stepped in it as much as he can step in it. Because we know that the NFL, at the end of the day, the owners and the higher-ups in the NFL are going to win. Yeah, I was going to say, they're always going to win in the end. But he really has stepped in it. Also yesterday, I don't know if you saw this, Texans chairman Cal McNair at a golf outing, he had to apologize later. But he used the term China virus to explain the COVID-19.
That's not fair to the people of China. Now, if he had said the communist Chinese government, that is irrefutable. It came out of the virology lab in Wuhan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but
it's not the people.
You got to be more. You got to be better than that, because you're generalizing an entire population and trying to blame them for something that,
now, I think
that has ravaged the world.
And any blame on the communist Chinese government is acceptable.
And I just think saying China virus, stay away from. Just don't.
Yeah,
don't
because it's not.
And
I know that
the president. I know that the former president said it, and examples were set.
But that's
at
not
that
the
time.
name of it.
But
that's COVID-19.
That's nothing you should ever say, and that is a bad generalization on an entire population of people.
It's unfair.
It is very unfair. But we will come back and we will put a wrap on this show, this Wednesday edition of Sports Time with Gabe and Stats, and we will get to Taco Bell Crunch Time on Sports 56 98.5.
Hey, this is Anthony Sane. Peter Edmiston and I have moved. Instead of Sports 56 mornings, you can now join us every afternoon from 1 to 3 p.m. for the all-new Sports 56 Grind Time, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
When you think of 117 Prime, Memphis's premier downtown dining destination, you probably think first of the always perfect steaks cooked over an open flame. And you'd be right. But you should also think of wine. The wine program at 117 Prime is far and away the best in Memphis. Whether you're looking for top-of-the-line Cabernets, champagne made by the same families for centuries, or a bottle from someplace you've never heard of, the expert staff at Prime will help you find the perfect wine to accompany your perfect meal. Your perfect meal at 117 Prime.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder, 867-0303. Hurricane season is upon us. Is your roof ready? Are your shingles laying down and sealed properly? Call me right now, 867-0303. They say you get what you pay for. That's why my opinion is free. Maybe you've got years of life left in your roof. If so, I'll tell you that. But if I find storm damage or a compromised roof system, I'll lay out some options for you. Don't let them tell you it needs to be replaced if it only needs a repair. Call me, 867-0303. Has your insurance company already seen it and rejected your claim? Maybe they're correct. Most of the time, they're not. They do tend to become more reasonable once I get involved, though. 867-0303. I'll measure your roof from outer space or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Basketball fans, celebrate the NBA's 75th anniversary season on FanDuel Sportsbook. Right now, new customers can place their first bet risk-free, and if you don't win, you'll get up to $1,000 back. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, now is the perfect time to give it a shot. That's why I bet on FanDuel. And there's no better place to bet on the NBA than FanDuel. See for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and sign up using promo code BIGHEAD, that's right, BIGHEAD, to get your first bet risk-free up to $1,000 and make every moment more this NBA season. That's promo code BIGHEAD. Must be 21 and older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call TN Redline 1-800-889-9789.
Working at Gateway Tire is not just a job, it's a profession. They're looking for career-minded people who want to advance their career in the auto industry. With 5-day work weeks, paid vacation, insurance, 401k plans, and much more, you'll enjoy their hometown approach to customer service. Come by and make Gateway Tire and Service Center the right step for your career.
At Gateway Tire, we go the distance for you.
The deals keep getting stronger than ever at the Ram Power Days and Jeep Adventure Days at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike. Want a Cherokee Classic with a modern twist? Get it with 2021 Jeep Cherokee Latitude 4-wheel drive, $409 a month. How about 2021 Chrysler 300 Touring, $426 a month? Take on off-road trails, city streets, and everything in between in a 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee L Limited, $489 a month. And the workhorse 2021 Ram 1500 Quad Cab Tradesman, $497 a month. Plus top dollar for your trade at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat. So drive past the rest and come to the best, or shop online, GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Cherokee 300 Ram, all 75 months at 3.99 APR, 3,500 down. Cherokee MD 220971, MSRP 30,580. 300 MH 640,614, MSRP 34,945. L M8 114994, MSRP 50,320. 48 month lease. 1500 MS 578 8563, MSRP 40,030. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695. Excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through the end of the month. Dealer stock only.
Need to sell your home? You're in luck, because I buy houses. All you have to do is call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pin, 901-406-1101, or just save it in your phone. Bill at I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses buys houses in any area, in any condition, at any time. As simple as that. I Buy Houses is guaranteed to close in 5 days. So if you need your cash fast, just call Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. Has your house been on the market? Were you just tired of renters? Or is it just time to start over? Well, avoid repairing, cleaning, painting, and prepping your house. Just pick up the phone and call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses. If you're in Southwind, South Memphis, North Mississippi, North Memphis, Collierville, if you can hear this, just call my friend Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye!
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
Looking for something new at Taco Bell? Try the original tacos meets the instant classic, nacho fries. There's bound to be some magic. Nacho fries are essentially building blocks for culinary imagination. Slightly seasoned, go with bold spices. Warm nacho cheese and sour cream, loaded taco fries are covered with seasoned beef, nacho cheese sauce, ranch, tomato, and shredded cheese. In short, the legend of nacho fries lives on.
Brett, what I learned today is we're headed into a little bit of a lively trade deadline for the NFL. There's a lot of moves that could be made, but the first one I see here, Mark Ingram heading back to the Saints, a reunion with Sean Payton, and they need it. They need it right now. That supplemental backfield that they had a little bit ago was the best that they had with Mark Ingram as a part of that.
That'll make Kamara even tougher.
I personally am confused by Brandon Cooks, who obviously plays for the Texans, saying this is BS, such a joke. Brandon, what did you expect them to do? You can't hold on to a guy who's only getting 26% of your carries and not even producing, and you're on one of the worst teams in the NFL. If you need to make a move, go make a move.
The Texans are really bad. I learned 9,137 days in between World Series wins for the Atlanta Braves. They were up 2-0 in 1996 over Joe Torre's Yankees, and they didn't win a World Series game again until last night. Leadoff home run, first in World Series. The best history in sports belongs to baseball. And I'm going to give Manfred a break here. I don't think he's ashamed of it, but I don't think they embrace it enough. Embrace your past. You have a history other sports would die for.
When I say on Chris at Gordy's account, obviously we talked to there at 5 o'clock, when I saw what he posted, the response that Rob Manfred gave to the 2017 cheating scandal question, man, I'm not saying you can handle. There's a great way to handle that from a PR perspective, but you could have done better than that, Rob.
He's
and
always
it seems
oblivious.
like in every single situation, he could do a lot better.
He misses.
Than that. What I could have done without is that, no question. But the story I read in the Daily Memphian, and also I saw on Fox last night, Rico Schwartz, who is from Collierville High School, he's a basketball player, on December 5th, 2020, was in an accident drunk driving on his way to Jerry Snowcones with a teammate, put on a ventilator, was in a 6-day coma. The right side of his body, his leg and his arm, were paralyzed. He's redoing his senior year now, and he's wanting to play basketball, but the TSSAA said it has no authority to grant a hardship exception once a student has entered their 9th semester in high school. So he is not able to play.
TSS.
My gosh. Come on, guys.
On the fly, change it.
Just look at every situation as it is. Make the requisite changes that you have to make. But let Rico play his senior year of basketball. That's ridiculous.
I could have done without this Western Conference of the NBA. It's, of course, a meat grinder again. The 6 to 7 seed will be around a 50-win team. But there are some bad teams, too, in the West. Oklahoma City, San Antonio, Houston, New Orleans, Minnesota, I think, are bad. Sacramento always finds a way to be bad. Well, that's about 6 teams I just rattled off there. So 10 teams are making the playoffs. The Grizzlies are in. I'm calling it.
Okay.
From John King at the big board election night. Grizzlies are in the playoffs.
Let's see these next 2 games. You know what? If they split the next 2 games, I'll feel pretty confident.
I got them in the playoffs after 3 games.
Hey, they've been playing some good offense. I guess I can't blame you too much. What we're looking forward to tonight, Urquidy versus Freed, Game 2, Braves at Astros. Something that I definitely am
How
looking
deep
for.
does either go? Does either one of them see the 4th inning?
Oof.
Here's a fun one. Here's another fun one tonight. How many innings will be played by the time the ball goes in the air for the tip for the Grizzlies Golden State game? About 3?
Last night was a long game, wasn't it?
Whew, last night
Very
was
long.
glacial.
Yeah.
The pace crowd had
I don't have
last
the
night.
exact time on it. It was over 4. Way over.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it
was approaching
stretched
5.
out.
But, yeah, the Grizzlies tonight against the Trailblazers. They're at the Trailblazers. Trailblazers 2.5-point favorites. Something you definitely have to pay attention to, though. Memphis football, we know where they're at, 4-4. Seth Hennigan was out against UCF. He just posted sort of a hidden message. He posted a Star Wars Return of the Jedi picture on his Twitter. So I'm wondering if that means that he's feeling a little more healthy.
Well, come on.
Yeah,
How much painkiller you think Charlie Morton's on tonight?
A whole lot. A whole lot. That's never fun. A fibula?
Ew.
I don't need that. But that's all we have for today. Thank you to Alex Kuhn. Thank you to Drew DeArmond and Chris Gordy for their contributions to the show. Thank you for listening. Tomorrow we'll have Bill Bender, we'll have Keith Smith, and we'll have Greg Gasson in their normal time slots. Make sure that you have a great night, and we'll holler at you at 3 tomorrow.
Hey, Memphis, thinking about buying a truck or SUV? Then come to the Sunrise Truck Corral. Want a red truck, black truck, white truck? How about a blue truck? Black wheels, chrome wheels. Come to the Sunrise Truck Corral. 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, extended cab, crew cab. Want a lifted truck? Come to the Sunrise Truck Corral. Want a diesel? How about a gas engine? Ford, Dodge, Chevy, Jeep, GMC, Toyota. We got them all at the Sunrise Truck Corral, the only dedicated truck lot in Memphis. Can't find a truck you like? Call, click, or come in. We'll find you the dream truck. Sunrise Truck Corral, Old Hummer Building on Highway 64 in Bartlett. We make it fun to buy a truck.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, Orco hard coolers, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. If you need a new roof for your home or business, we hope to hear from you and will work hard to earn your business. We are experts and certified in residential and commercial roofing, siding, and gutter installation. I have been serving the Memphis area for over 20 years, and now with 2 of my sons working with me, we plan to be here for years to come. So if you need a roof, please give us a call. On a personal note, what a great time it is to be a Memphis sports fan. With the Grizzlies and the Redbirds and 901 FC, not to mention Tigers football and basketball, it's going to be a fun year. Thanks to Coach Silverfield and Coach Hardaway and their staffs for their dedication to the student and athletes, the University of Memphis, the City of Memphis, and us fans. Five Ash Roof Services, a proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
I'm with John Burgos in the alley at the world-famous Rendezvous. John, it's so good to see you. How are things at the restaurant?
Brett, things in the restaurant are fine, but like all restaurateurs will tell you, things are still not back to normal. Supply chains are interrupted. One week we can't find charcoal. Another week we're short on ribs. Another week they can't find the plastic bottles to fill our sauce jars with. I've watched in awe as our fellow Memphis restaurateurs have worked their way through these past months.
John, always new and exciting things at the Rendezvous.
People know we have Greek salad, vegetarian red beans and rice, and vegetarian nachos. But now we have desserts. Miss Barbara of O Taste and See has individually wrapped some wonderful desserts. We have key lime pie, chess pie, chocolate chess pie, and pecan pie. Not pecan pie, pecan pie. We also have a new twist at the Rendezvous. We now have outdoor dining. It's in the side alley along the Rendezvous, not the one in the front. And depending on the weather and depending on staffing, please call ahead to make sure we're